Any gifts? Chloe immediately exploded. I told you it wasn't on purpose. Sarah doesn't mind. Why do you care so much? But Sarah, really no need for a gift. I don't need anything. That was true. I'd already prepared plenty of clothes and cosmetics for her. Now she was only missing one thing. Before I could finish, Chloe was already glaring at me. That little swan necklace she'd been wanting for ages, but having just met. How could she accept such an expensive gift? Serafina quickly changed the subject. Let's go to the mall first. I need to buy some outfits too. I nodded. Started the car toward the nearest mall, as the state capital, though not as bustling as New York. There was no shortage of large and small malls. For me, Houston was practically home turf, just that it was rush hour. Streets were packed solid. National Day holiday, the mall was crowded. Took us over an hour just to park. Walking around with Chloe and Serafina, the head turning rate was off the charts. Both were exceptional beauties. Either one alone could cause a scene in the whole mall. Though Houston had plenty of beautiful women, ones above 90 points were rare. Chloe deliberately kept a few steps away from me, but I still became the most envied guy there. Sarah, just tell me whichever outfit you like. This trip was mainly to shop for Serafina. She'd left in such a hurry without bringing anything. Chloe immediately got jealous, muttering under her breath, "My biggest dream in life is to hear you say that to me." I glanced at her. Then no necklace. Chloe immediately shut up. A true gentleman can bend and stretch. Even though she was a girl, Serafina smiled and asked, "Which necklace do you like? I can buy it for you." How could Chloe dare accept? Though she'd already accepted her as sister-in-law in her heart. They'd only known each other for a month after all. No need, Sarah. My brother already promised to buy me a necklace. No way I'm letting this chance slip. After saying that, she even shot me a proud glance. Shopping for Serafina's clothes went smoothly. Her fashion sense was impeccable. Just like when she picked clothes for me before. Everything she liked looked beautiful when worn. Every time Serafina came out in a new outfit, Chloe and I were both dazzled. Even a beauty like Chloe couldn't help but compliment her. Girls sometimes enjoy admiring beautiful women even more than guys do, bro. Chloe sat beside me watching Serafina's elegant figure and said, "I don't think you're worthy of Sarah." My face darkened. What do you mean? Am I really that bad in your eyes? Honestly, if judging purely on looks, I really couldn't match Serafina, but I knew how to make money. Making tens of thousands monthly was no joke. Chloe giggled. It's not that you're bad. It's just that Sarah deserves someone better. Not someone stiff like you. I was about to argue back, when the system suddenly chimed, "Ding, random quest activated. Prove you're the most suitable boyfriend for Serafina. Time limit, 1 week. Based on satisfaction scores from Chloe and Serafina. Reward, undetermined." I paused for a moment. Didn't expect Chloe could trigger a quest. This time, it was a practical quest. Reward, unclear, but usually very generous. Most importantly, had to score high. Just shopping with her would probably only get average points. To score high, needed to think of something else. Chloe saw I wasn't speaking, so she ran off to help Serafina pick clothes. I quietly stood up and left. Neither of them noticed. A good man shows care in the small details to get a high score. I walked into a women's lingerie store. Serafina had left in such a hurry without bringing anything, not even spare underwear. With Chloe around, she'd definitely be too embarrassed to buy them. Only I could handle this task. "Consider it for the reward," I muttered as I pushed open the door. But the moment I stepped in, I froze. Countless styles of lingerie made my head spin. I had no choice but to call over a sales associate. "Excuse me, what do you need, sir?" A uniformed saleswoman came over and asked, "Please get me 2 sets in 34C. Simple styles are fine." I stood right by the entrance, not daring to go deeper. "Bras and panties both?" I nodded. "Yes, all of it. 2 sets for a week should be enough to change." To ease my embarrassment, I lowered my head pretending to scroll through my phone. Right then I heard a familiar voice. "Oh? Isn't this our class valedictorian?" I looked up. It was my high school friend Ryan and his girlfriend. What a coincidence. I reluctantly greeted her. Dana said mockingly, "Running into you here. How interesting. Don't tell me you have a girlfriend now." I didn't respond. She continued to mock. "With your looks, getting a girlfriend?" I frowned. "We're all classmates. No need to be like this." Dana was still ridiculing me, when Serafina's voice suddenly came from behind. I turned around. Serafina and Chloe were walking this way. Serafina directly hooked her arm through mine. "Who did you just say doesn't have a girlfriend?" Chloe had been helping Serafina pick clothes. Turned around only to find I'd disappeared, Sarah. "Where did my brother go?" "He was just here." Serafina was equally confused. "He's probably tired of shopping with us, so he snuck off." Chloe guessed. We have to drag him back. With that, she pulled Serafina out of the store. Actually, I was just standing at the shop next door. The moment they stepped out, they saw me, along with Dana and her friend beside her. Chloe frowned. Dana, why is she here? Serafina asked. You know her? Back in high school, she used to chase my brother, got publicly rejected, then turned hostile toward him. Classic love turned to hate. Serafina looked at the store sign where I was standing, immediately understood why I was there. Her face flushed slightly as she approached. Dana's mocking words came through clearly. Someone like you? Actually got a girlfriend. That girl must be crazy. Chloe heard her insulting me. Her expression immediately darkened. I can trash talk my brother, but another girl doing it? That's not happening. Before Chloe could charge forward, Serafina had already stepped ahead. She walked straight to my side, hooked her arm tightly through mine, coldly glared at Dana. Who did you just say doesn't have a girlfriend? Ever since I'd known her, Serafina had always been soft and gentle. Whatever I said, she listened. But right now, she was completely different. Fierce. Serafina and I exchanged glances. Understanding without words. Dana, right? Serafina's aura exploded. I heard you got rejected by my boyfriend in high school. And you've been holding a grudge ever since. Though from an ordinary family background, Serafina was still a girl with millions in assets. Her presence completely overwhelmed the two girls. Her beauty went without saying. Plus Chloe standing beside her for backup made the other side completely outmatched. Chloe wasn't as polite as Serafina. Dana, it's been years. Still can't let it go? Blame yourself for being ugly. Though my brother isn't much better looking. At least he's way better than you. I thought to myself, am I really that ugly? 80 points in looks. Just a bit more, and I'd reach 1 in 1,000 level. Though standing next to Serafina and Chloe was a bit mismatched, compared to Dana, I was still far superior. Dana was rendered speechless, wanted to retort but didn't know where to start. In beauty or figure, Serafina beat her completely. In the end, she could only take jabs at me. You're really something now. Learned to hide behind women. Hearing her, I immediately felt this person was so boring. Everything she said was meaningless. Serafina turned to look at me, corner of her lips curving up. I hurriedly explained, I really never did anything with her. I swear. Who knows why she hates me so much? Serafina smiled. I know. If you'd actually fallen for someone like her, I'd have to wonder if something's wrong with me. That comment made Dana's face turn green. She struggled to respond. A man going to buy women's underwear. Good thing I didn't get with you back then. Serafina laughed. Before saying that, you should find a boyfriend willing to buy underwear for you first. Chloe immediately added, why is it so sour in here? Isn't this just someone who can't get the grapes? So they say the grapes are sour? The two of them coordinated perfectly. Dana was completely silenced. Her friend couldn't stand watching anymore, pulled her away immediately, dragged her right out. Dana left. Serafina had just been all fierce and imposing. Now her face was completely red. Just then the saleswoman came over. Sir, here's what you ordered. Cash or card? Card. I took out my bank card. Chloe suddenly exclaimed, you're too much. You've never bought these things for me. Yet you're buying them for my sister-in-law without even asking the size. Confess now. I sneaked a glance at Serafina. From this angle, I could just make out the faint curves. If there was a real chance, I should definitely try. Chloe immediately pulled Serafina away. You really do have bad intentions. In such a crowded place, I had to rein in my wandering thoughts. Some things could only be said when it was just the two of us. Serafina took the shopping bag. Chloe started making trouble again. Insisted I buy her 2 sets of underwear too. In the end, I paid over 3,000. Though it hurt a bit, but watching two beauties in the store picking this and that, and the jealous looks from men all around, the money was worth it. Walked around for 2 hours. 7 or 8 bags hanging from my hands. Most were Serafina's things. Of course, there were 2 items for Chloe too. After all, following me around for so long, she deserves some perks. You two keep shopping. I'll go put the stuff away. Carrying all these bags was inconvenient. I decided to put the stuff in the car first. Just finished loading the trunk. My phone suddenly rang. It was Tyler, a high school friend I hadn't contacted in a while. Tyler, I answered. My lips unconsciously curved up. This buddy who used to be inseparable from me. Since we went to different colleges, we gradually lost touch. Callum, you're in Houston? Tyler's voice came through, full of energy. I said honestly, yeah, just got in last night. Such a long break and not coming home would be weird. Tyler continued. No wonder, Dana said in the class group, that you found an ugly girlfriend. True or false? I froze for a moment. Dana was spreading nonsense again. This girl was really something. Got completely wrecked by Serafina. Turn around and she's already making up stories. Tyler said helplessly. The class group is going crazy, but that's not why I'm calling. The high school class is having a reunion. You coming? Honestly, those 3 years of high school were beautiful. Everyone was young and carefree, though we rarely talked now. Meeting up would definitely give us lots to talk about. I felt a bit moved, but I had to take Serafina around soon. Also had to look at storefronts for my parents. So many things to handle. Really didn't have time. Been pretty busy lately. Let me treat you to a meal another time. Tyler wouldn't give up. Busy with what? Going out with your girlfriend? You got a girlfriend and didn't tell me? Was gonna introduce you to a cute dance major. You know what I mean. That flexibility. Guys talking always went off topic. Especially best bros like us. My school's full of beautiful women. Dance department, performance department, each one unique. It's an art school after all. Everyone lives off their looks, but Tyler lowered his voice. No matter how pretty, none compare to your girlfriend. When you're free, I'll come visit. I laughed and hung up. I pressed the elevator button, lips slightly curved. I knew this guy. The class reunion was set for 2 days later. I'll call you then. If you're free, come hang out. If not, no worries. But before the break ends, I definitely have to meet your sister-in-law. Got it? I immediately fired back. What sister-in-law? You should call her sis. Bros calling each other bro is normal. Alright, elevator's here. Hanging up. Without waiting for him to say more, I hung up. I opened the high school class group. Found everyone was still chatting animatedly. Guess who I ran into at the mall today? I saw Callum in a lingerie store. What? Callum? What was he doing in a lingerie store? What else? Obviously buying lingerie. He doesn't have some special fetish, does he? His girlfriend is super ugly. Her figure is nothing to look at. Dana was stirring things up in the group again. Really? Is my taste really that bad? The group immediately exploded. If Dana says so, it must be true. Drama lovers chimed in one after another. I scrolled through the chat. Never expected. I'd become the center of gossip for the whole group. Scrolling down, I saw Tyler defending me against Dana. Dana, everyone knows your petty thoughts. What does me having a girlfriend have to do with you? Ugly people sure love causing trouble. Dana immediately fired back. There was a gap in between, probably when he called me. I read through the whole chat, immediately understood what was happening. Dana was clearly embarrassed from losing face, so she ran to the class group to smear me. Everyone else was just here for the drama. Looking at the constantly updating messages, I directly dropped a wave of red packets into the group. 46 people in the class. I sent 44 packets of $200 each. Total, $8,800. Why too short? One was me. The other was obviously Dana. Each packet I labeled celebration candy. The group exploded again. Screen filled with notifications of people claiming red packets. Less than half a minute. 44 packets were all claimed. Damn, $200. Thanks, boss. The group chat was on fire. Then Dana messaged, why didn't I get a red packet? Everyone finally noticed. 44 packets meant one person was left out. All eyes turned to Dana. I directly tagged Dana. Sorry? Didn't prepare one for you. Mind giving what you took to Linda? The group went dead silent. Everyone understood what happened. You made up lies to trash talk me. And still want my red packet? The funniest part was, Dana actually did claim a packet. That level of shamelessness was truly rare. Sister-in-law wants to buy matching diamond rings, Chloe blurted out. Eyes full of jealousy, that pair costs at least $20,000. Next time when you say you'll buy something, actually do it. Or both girls. Why is the gap so big? Thinking about how she had to work as a servant for a week, just to get a necklace. Chloe was sour inside. Callum, do you think this ring is pretty? Serafina extended her slender finger. The diamond ring sparkled under the lights. It really was beautiful. Yeah, I also. Chloe was about to speak, but I cut her off. You don't even have a boyfriend. What's the point of couple rings? One devastating sentence left her speechless. Complete silence. Chloe lowered her head, feeling wronged. This diamond ring was really beautiful, but it still depended on whose hand it was on. Actually, I wasn't interested in diamonds. Knew it was all marketing tricks for merchants, but couldn't resist that girls loved them, whether Serafina or Chloe. Both stared at those rings without looking away. Random quest activated. Purchase couple rings with rarity above 80 points. Reward, a pair of 100-point rarity diamonds. Though I didn't know diamond grading, the system displayed data. Trading 80-point items for 100-point ones. This deal was too good. Do you have the men's version? Let me try it on, I said to the salesperson. Right here, sir. The salesperson took out a box. Inside was the men's ring design. Diamond slightly bigger. I picked up the ring. System chimed. Rarity 58. How much for the pair? I asked. Sir, these are platinum diamond rings. 18,500 for the pair? The salesperson explained that once diamonds were set, the price changed completely. This price was close to my estimate, but the problem was, both rings together cost nearly 20,000, and the system only rated them 58 points. Couldn't even reach average level. This was truly ridiculous. Do you have anything better? I frowned and put the ring back in the box. The salesperson was slightly stunned. What did you say, sir? I said. Bring out the best couple rings in the store. Diamond rings were usually sold as pairs. Ordinary people only bought them for weddings. Hearing me say that, the salesperson immediately nodded and went to get the premium items, being accompanied by Serafina and Chloe. Two beauties like this shopping for rings. People definitely thought I was some rich heir. Callum, I thought the rings just now were pretty. Serafina was a bit confused. Pretty, but not up to my standards. After all, this is our first time buying couple rings. Can't be careless about it. Chloe pouted. You're reaching too high. She knew I'd made money, but still felt my standards were too high. Only rich kids always bought the most expensive stuff. Serafina, on the other hand, was very happy. She thought my seriousness meant I cared about her. Girls really were hard to figure out. A few minutes later, the salesperson brought 2 boxes over. Sir, these are our store's best rings. Both are works by French designers. Each pair is over 2 carats, about 400,000 per pair. 400,000 a pair. For me and Serafina, it was nothing. Buying them wouldn't affect anything, but Chloe was stunned. That amount of money equaled her parents' salary for several years without spending a dime. Chloe stared at me with wide eyes. Are you crazy? I didn't pay attention. Opened the ring box to look. The system immediately chimed. Task item detected. Rarity 81. Over 400,000 and only 80 points. The system really was picky. I opened the other box. Rarity 80 points. How much for both pairs? I asked the salesperson directly. The salesperson was about to explain at length. I immediately cut in. Just the price. First one is 465,800. Second is 418,800. I was slightly surprised. Such a big difference. The salesperson explained the diamond purity was different. Actually, both were excellent. Both could complete the quest. I gave Serafina full authority to choose. Which one do you like? Sarah, which style do you prefer? I pushed both ring boxes in front of Serafina. She began comparing seriously. Chloe stood beside her, frowning, constantly signaling me with her eyes, but I pretended not to see. Sarah, you keep looking. Let me go buy bubble tea with my brother, Chloe suddenly said. Serafina smiled and nodded. Chloe immediately dragged me away. Can't you go by yourself? I'm busy here, I said reluctantly. I can't carry 3 cups alone. Come with me. Chloe dragged me straight out the door. We'd only walked a few steps when Chloe stopped. Are we getting bubble tea? I asked suspiciously. Are you actually stupid or just pretending? Chloe crossed her arms, looking at me like I was the idiot. What did I do? I was completely confused. Yesterday you said the money was for Mom and Dad's storefront. Today you're spending over 400,000 on diamond rings. Have you lost your mind? Chloe was so angry she stamped her feet. Her face flushed red. Actually, I had more than 400,000 on hand. Buying the rings was for the system quest, but I couldn't say that. Don't you like these things? I smiled and pinched her cheek. Why are you being stingy now? Chloe puffed up her cheeks and said, How is that the same? I like what I like, but I'd never spend money recklessly. I can work for months to buy a necklace, but I'd never drop tens of thousands on rings. Chloe was so mad her whole face turned red. I laughed. What matters isn't how much the rings cost. It's that I want to give one to Serafina, right? This pair of rings was over 400,000. Though the men's was bigger, the women's was still over 100,000 in Chloe's eyes. Serafina and I had known each other less than a month. Giving such an expensive gift was indeed a bit much. Looking at her wanting to speak but holding back, I knew exactly what she was thinking. It did look kind of foolish on the surface, but she didn't know. Serafina's feelings for me had already reached the level of lifetime devotion. Besides, she wasn't short on money herself. I knew my limits. After saying that, I turned and walked away. Chloe still wanted to say something, but eventually followed silently. I bought 3 drinks. I chose fruit tea. Bubble tea was too sweet for my taste. The other 2 were for them. Carrying the drinks back to the jewelry store, I saw Serafina, chatting with an elegant middle-aged woman. Sarah, here's your drink. I handed her the bubble tea. This is Auntie Tang. Serafina took the drink and explained. She's here ordering wedding rings for her son. She happened to see our rings. So, she struck up a conversation. Hello, Auntie Tang. I greeted politely. This auntie looked very kind. About the same age as my parents. Calling her auntie was most appropriate. The salesperson came over with 2 exquisite jewelry boxes, handed them to Serafina and Auntie Tang respectively. Both of your rings are packaged, the salesperson said respectfully. Auntie Tang took the box, smiled and said to Serafina, Sarah, I have to go. I'll head out first. Thank you for letting me have this ring. You're too kind, Auntie, Serafina replied sweetly. After Auntie Tang left, I turned to ask Serafina, done choosing? All done. She held the jewelry box and naturally hooked her arm through mine. I took out my bank card to give to the salesperson, but saw him look somewhat embarrassed, sir. Ms. Hayes has already paid. When did you pay? I was slightly surprised. When you and Chloe went to buy bubble tea, Serafina blinked. Last time the watch was your treat. This time it's my turn. The salesperson sneaked a glance at the Patek Philippe on Serafina's wrist, secretly marveled. Gifts exchanged were all worth tens of thousands. Truly the world of the wealthy. I laughed helplessly. Originally I was planning to use these rings to complete the system quest. Didn't expect Serafina had already paid. Right at that moment, the system sound suddenly chimed. Ding, detected. Serafina's feelings for the host have reached the level of undying devotion. Quest determined complete. Reward, 1 pair of 100-point rarity diamonds. Sent to system space. Truly, a pleasant surprise. Though I couldn't use them yet. At least the quest was complete. Chloe's feelings right now were extremely complicated. She originally thought I was wasting money, spending over 100,000 on rings. Especially since Serafina and I weren't that deep in our relationship yet. Who would have thought? Serafina didn't say a word and just paid for the rings herself. When she saw me glance over, Chloe immediately felt her face burning. So her sister-in-law was this rich, spending tens of thousands on rings like buying a bottle of water. So simple. She was jealous enough to cry. Chloe was sour inside. Now she was only thinking about how to get on my good side. So I'd buy her that necklace worth over 10,000. I patted Serafina's head. Don't spend money so freely from now on. She just smiled without saying anything. Let's go. I'll take you 2 back to the hotel to rest. I've got something to do later. Serafina really was tired. Early flight in the morning, shopping all afternoon, but still reluctant to leave me. Only after hearing me say that did she obediently nod. Chloe was only thinking about that necklace. No mood to keep shopping either. I took them to the 5-star hotel I'd booked. It was a suite over 800 square feet, fully equipped, like a miniature luxury apartment. You treat your sister-in-law way too well, Chloe exclaimed the moment she entered. She'd lived in small rooms her whole life. Even in college, she stayed in dorms. First time seeing such a fancy room. Of course. I set the shopping bags on the sofa. You 2 rest first. I'll arrange dinner. I'll pick you up when it's time. With that, I left the hotel. Though buying the storefront wasn't urgent, I still wanted to get it done early. I didn't know any rich people in Houston, so for buying property like this, I'd probably still need to find real estate agencies, go early to register my info, so they could help me sooner. Hearing I had serious business to attend to, Serafina obediently nodded too, then stretched out long. I am a bit tired. I'll sleep first. The moment she stretched, her perfect curves were fully revealed, making Chloe beside her stare in awe. She glanced at me, also slightly dazed, then quietly went into the room. Serafina seemed to notice something different about me, but didn't lower her arms at all. Instead, waited for Chloe to go inside, then hugged me tight, and tiptoed to kiss me for over 10 seconds. Before we separated, I'm very satisfied today. This is your reward. Serafina's lips curved into a smile. That's all for the reward? I smacked my lips, seeming to still remember that soft sensation. Tonight after dinner, I'll take Chloe home, then come find you, okay? I was a hot-blooded young man after all. Being teased by Serafina a little, my mind couldn't help but wander to naughty thoughts. But Serafina didn't respond to that. She grabbed an outfit and walked straight to the bathroom. Finish your business this afternoon and remember to pick us up. I'm going to shower first. I was about to say something, but Serafina had already gone into the bathroom. Clicked the bathroom door closed. Fine. I had no choice but to give up. Went outside. I closed their room door for them. Back in the living room, I opened the real estate app. Found a famous real estate company nearby. Made an appointment with the seller. I immediately drove over. Just as I walked in, a woman in her 30s approached. I asked, I have an appointment with someone named Lily. Is she here? Unexpectedly, after I said that, the woman shook her head. Sir, you don't understand. For real estate transactions like this, of course you need someone experienced to serve you. Lily just graduated. Hasn't closed a single deal. Very inexperienced. Her words made me pause. Wasn't this stealing clients? This was openly poaching customers. But I didn't refuse. Followed her into the reception room. I sat down. The woman poured me water, sir. Please wait a moment. I'll go get the documents. I nodded, said nothing. But the moment she went out, my phone rang. I took it out. It was Lily calling. I answered. Lily's voice came from the other end. Mr. Jensen, where are you right now? If you can't find the office, I can come meet you. Lily's voice was calm as usual. I'm in Anchor Realty's reception room. I didn't hide anything. The moment she heard me, Lily's usually calm voice suddenly became flustered. A few seconds later, the reception room door burst open. A young woman in business attire, looking about early 20s, walked in. I had to say she was very pretty. If I were to rate her, Lily would definitely be above 90 points. The girl came in and saw me sitting there. Still catching her breath, Mr. Jensen? It's me. Are you Mr. Jensen? I responded. Hearing my answer, Lily immediately got a bit excited. I was just about to go out and meet you. Didn't expect you'd already come inside. Lily seemed to be explaining why she wasn't at the door, waiting for me. But to me, that didn't matter. All I needed was to buy a storefront that satisfied me. Everything else was secondary. Lily was about to say something else when the reception room door was pushed open again. The woman from earlier walked in, holding a stack of documents. Seeing Lily, she frowned. Lily, what are you doing in the reception room? Get out. I have a client to serve. The woman glared and scolded. Lily spoke up directly. Lily was stunned. Where's your client? She regained her composure, then immediately reacted. Mr. Jensen, I clearly contacted the client first. Luna, you can't steal clients from your own colleagues. Lily seemed provoked by Luna. She continued, last time you used the same trick and stole my client. Now you're doing it again. Don't go too far. Hearing Lily's words, Luna crossed her arms and sneered. A newbie handling a $5 million deal. Can you even manage that? If something actually goes wrong, can you take responsibility? After saying that, Luna waved her hand, gesturing for Lily to leave. Their argument attracted a lot of attention. After all, everyone here saw each other regularly. Luna openly stealing clients like this couldn't be hidden even if she tried. By now, quite a few people were standing at the reception room entrance watching. I remained seated, watching the two argue. Didn't say a word. Seeing Lily about to be driven out, I finally spoke up. I told Miss Lily she didn't need to come meet me. And I did contact her first. The two had been arguing red-faced, but after hearing me, the matter was settled. Both looked toward me, but Lily's eyes were grateful, while Luna's were full of displeasure. At that moment, a middle-aged man in his 40s or 50s walked in. Since the client contacted Lily first, Mr. Jensen, Luna, you should step back. The man wore a manager badge on his chest. His words carried weight. Hearing the manager, Luna could only respond, understood, then gave me a long, deep look, before turning to leave the reception room. The moment she walked out, I heard her mocking voice. Some teenage kid, renting a storefront like it's $1 billion deal. How ridiculous. The manager also apologized to me, then told the onlookers to disperse. The reception room that had been noisy suddenly became quiet again. The two people in the room. Neither knew how to start. Lily looked at me gratefully. Mr. Jensen, thank you for speaking up for me just now. I shook my head, said somewhat helplessly, it's nothing. That's just how it was. I did contact Lily first. Work capability was a separate matter. If Lily's abilities didn't satisfy me, I could always switch people then. Let me pour you some water. You could tell, Lily's experience really was lacking. If it were someone else, they'd have started asking about my needs, then introduced suitable properties. But Lily seemed like she didn't know where to begin. She looked very flustered, just like what happened earlier. I could only shake my head. No need. Ms. Lily, I'm in a hurry. If possible, I hope you can. Record my requirements for the storefront, then quickly find me a suitable one. Lily lacked experience, so I had to take the lead. Hearing me, Lily replied, Mr. Jensen, please wait a moment. I'll go get a pen and notebook. I gave a soft, Lily had only been gone for about 10 seconds before hurrying back, as if afraid that being away too long would get her client stolen again. Okay, Mr. Jensen, you can start. Lily sat down beside me, opened her notebook. I nodded, then spoke slowly. I want to buy a storefront. Location shouldn't be too remote. Around 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. Budget around 10 million. I stated my requirements clearly, but Lily, who was taking notes, suddenly stopped writing. Turned to look at me. Mr. Jensen, did you just say 10 million? I was interrupted by her. Couldn't help but look over. Is there a problem? Lily briefly lost focus, then suddenly looked happy. No problem, no problem. Mr. Jensen, please continue. I'll write it all down. I'll definitely find you a storefront you'll love. I paused, then added, all right, best if the seller can work quickly. Close the deal in the next few days if possible. After closing, I can pay in full. Hearing that, Lily looked at me in surprise, then continued writing. Got it. Mr. Jensen, do you have any requirements for when the paperwork is completed? I nodded and answered, if possible. I want to complete all procedures during this National Day holiday, because coming up, I'll be quite busy. Within a week? Lily murmured, then nodded. Mr. Jensen, don't worry, I will definitely find a suitable property for you within a week. After signing the authorization, Lily personally walked me out. Mr. Jensen, do you need me to drive you back? Lily suddenly asked, you have a car? I turned to look at Lily. If I remembered correctly, Lily had just started working. Looked like she'd just graduated from college. Hearing my question, Lily's face showed some embarrassment. Quickly said, it's a company car, but I have a license. Don't worry. Hearing that, I laughed. No need, Ms. Lily. Just focus on helping me find a storefront. Lily nodded. Yes. Take care, Mr. Jensen. After saying that, she went back into the company, but just as she stepped in, she saw many colleagues looking at her. The moment Lily walked in, the manager called out, Lily, please come in for a moment. Being stared at strangely by colleagues like this, Lily could only grit her teeth and go in. But once inside, she saw Luna, who had just stolen her client, was also there. Lily quietly asked the manager, is something wrong? The manager looked at Lily, thought for a moment before saying, Lily, I've told Luna to give you 2 rental deals. After all, headquarters assigns quotas every year. For deals worth tens of millions like this, headquarters pays close attention. I have to ensure this deal doesn't get snatched by another company. Having someone experience take over is also unavoidable. Lily glanced at Luna. Don't look at me. In terms of seniority and experience, I really am far above you. Hearing that, Lily looked back. Couldn't help but glare. Last time you people tricked me. You think I'll let myself be tricked again? Saying that, everything was now out in the open. Lily's face also showed some grievance, but she held it in due to pressure. Besides, didn't the manager just say, this deal was given to me? Lily looked at the manager again. I didn't know this deal was so big before. The manager was about to speak, but was cut off by Lily. Didn't expect this deal to be so valuable. Lily laughed coldly. Either way, I won't agree. The manager frowned at being spoken to like that, glanced at Luna and said, Luna, step outside first. Let me talk to Lily. As if understanding what the manager wanted to do. Luna nodded, gave Lily a meaningful look, then turned and left the manager's office. Didn't forget to close the door. Now in the room, only the manager and Lily remained. Lily, sit down. Don't be angry. After Luna left, the manager's expression softened considerably, but Lily didn't show any respect. Come on, sit down. Let me talk to you slowly. Seeing Lily still not moving, the manager could only keep coaxing. Only then did Lily sit on the sofa. The manager didn't say anything more, but personally poured her a glass of water. You know how many deals Luna closes per month, right? Lily frowned, though she hadn't been here long, and didn't know the previous situation. But these past few days, watching Luna close deals, there really were quite a few. Seemed like a lot. Lily didn't drink the water, just replied flatly. If you're trying to say Luna is experienced, then don't bother. Either way, I won't give this deal to her. She thought the manager would get angry, but unexpectedly, he didn't. His smile even deepened. I never said I'd transfer this deal to Luna. Complete this deal. And the commission is tens of thousands. Who'd be stupid enough to give that up? The manager squinted, a sly smile appearing on his face. Hearing that, Lily breathed a slight sigh of relief. Since he said that, maybe he wouldn't make things difficult for her. But you also know, if we lose the client, headquarters will hold us responsible. You understand that, right? The manager sat closer to Lily. Though your experience isn't enough, if you let me watch over you, there won't be any problems. And even if something happens, I'll help you shoulder it. While saying these words, the manager's eyes were glued to Lily's fair legs. Really? Then thank you, manager. Lily didn't notice anything wrong. Hearing that, I immediately said, no need to thank me. But I feel like, if you just go handle that deal like this, something's still missing. How about this? Come to my place tonight. I'll give you some private coaching. I think your experience is still lacking. As the manager spoke, he placed his hand on Lily's thigh. Lily was indeed a rookie, but she wasn't stupid. If she still didn't understand what the manager wanted to do, then she'd be truly idiotic. Thinking that, Lily jumped up, Her knee even hit the coffee table, making her frown in pain. Manager, please have some self-respect. My experience is lacking, yes, but not to the point of selling myself for it. After saying that, Lily was about to leave, but the manager's voice came again. If I remember correctly, your family situation isn't great either. Just one sentence made Lily freeze in place. Of course, you can try walking out that door, but I can't guarantee whether I'll use my power to make things difficult. Maybe tomorrow, you won't be an Anchor Realty employee anymore. Who knows? By then, the deal will come back to me anyway. Think it over carefully. After all, this is a commission worth tens of thousands. Hearing that, Lily turned to look at the manager. She saw him sitting leisurely on the sofa, looking extremely smug, as his victory was assured, but what he didn't expect was the tactics that always worked before completely failed against Lily. Lily grabbed the paper cup from the table and threw the water right in the manager's face. The water wasn't hot, just lukewarm, but in this situation, and being splashed by his own employee, was enough to make the manager lose all face. Go find your Luna, understand? I, Lily, haven't fallen that low. After saying that, Lily turned and left the office. The door was slammed so hard it shook. Everyone outside looked toward Lily, but she didn't say a word, just went back to her desk and packed her things. Everyone was confused. Just now they'd heard. Lily was about to sign a deal worth tens of millions. Yet after going into the manager's office, she stormed out, slamming the door. Luna saw the scene. Immediately walked into the manager's office in her high heels. But once inside, seeing the manager's disheveled appearance, she was also slightly stunned. Luna quickly grabbed some tissues, helped him wipe his clothes. What happened? How'd you get all wet? Luna asked with concern. Don't even mention it. The manager was furious. Standing at the door, he yelled at Lily. From now on, you're no longer an Anchor Realty employee. Pack your things and get out. The manager's voice was very loud. The entire office heard it. But when Luna heard that, in her heart, she had already figured out everything that just happened. This Lily girl was still too naive, too little life experience. If it were her instead, no matter what, she would keep this deal at all costs. Manager, now that Lily's been fired, what about that deal from earlier? Just asking that, she already understood the full implication. Luna probed with a question. The manager glanced at Luna, then said, come to my place tonight, use the back door. Hearing the manager say that, Luna wasn't angry, but instead examined herself. If using the back door could get her this deal, it was more than worth it. Oh, right, I might have to go to New York on business in a few days. Come with me then. There are some things I'll need your help with. After saying that, the manager looked Luna up and down. Good, good. Then I'll tell my husband in advance, so he won't bother me then. Luna quickly responded, that's more like it. A deal with tens of thousands in commission. How could using the back door once be enough? At least had to go through several doors, front and back, though he was a bit greedy. As long as she got the deal, it was fine. Luna wasn't stupid like Lily. Money delivered to her door and she didn't want it. But you need to be careful. Lily definitely won't give up easily. The manager added, don't worry. Lily's just unemployed now. What does she have to compete with me? A smug smile appeared on Luna's face. As for me, I knew nothing about this. And even if I did, I wouldn't feel anything. This was the real work environment. Though a bit dark, it was extremely real. Especially for a deal that could earn tens of thousands. It would be strange if no one fought for it. But going back now, there was nothing to do. Only 2 hours had passed since leaving the hotel. Serafina and Chloe had probably only just fallen asleep. So I sat at a bubble tea shop next to the hotel and made dinner reservations while I was at it. Just as I was about to get up and go back to the room, my phone rang. I took out my phone and looked. It was an unknown number. Plus the system had auto-identified it as a real estate agent. I thought it was Lily. But if Lily called, there would definitely be a note. Thinking that, I still answered. Who is this? I asked. Hello, Mr. Jensen. I'm Luna from Anchor Realty. You probably still have some impression of me. Hearing that, an image immediately appeared in my mind. The woman who'd fought Lily for the deal. No, should call her the older lady. Looking at her alone, Luna was quite attractive. But standing next to Lily, I automatically categorized her as a middle-aged woman. I didn't understand why Luna was calling me. I don't know what you need. I continued asking. It's like this, Mr. Jensen. Lily has already resigned from our company, so your deal is now handled by me. Currently, I have several properties that fit your requirements very well. If you're free this afternoon, I can take you to see them. Luna's words made me frown slightly. Lily resigned. The deal went to Luna. Whether Lily worked or not had nothing to do with me, but this was way too obvious. Instinctively, I knew something was wrong. But I didn't say it. What made me frown was the timing Luna arranged. Sorry, I have to take my girlfriend to dinner this afternoon, so I'm not free. Schedule conflict, I said decisively, without any hesitation. This was the real reason I frowned. Then how about tonight? If you're not busy tonight, I can treat you to a few drinks. Hearing I had something this afternoon, Luna switched to a different time. Let's see about tonight. I'll let you know later if I'm not busy. If it was evening, it would avoid scheduling conflicts. Maybe this was the best choice, but I wasn't sure if tonight. Serafina had other plans. If she had plans, I'd definitely prioritize accompanying her. Okay, Mr. Jensen, I'll contact you tonight then. Just getting this answer. Luna was already very satisfied. After all, this was a deal snatched from someone else. To fully convince me, there would be plenty of opportunities when we met, especially for me, a teenage kid. Just using a few techniques could make me lose my mind completely. In looks and figure, she might not match Lily, but a green apple. How could it compare to a ripe peach? Even the manager had been won over by her, let alone me. After I hung up, Luna pushed away the manager's hand that was on her leg. Manager, you heard that? Tonight I might have to meet Mr. Jensen. Luna waved her phone. The manager nodded. I know, but don't forget what you promised before. This time I'm taking 30% of the commission. The manager's hand had just been pushed away, but now it was placed on her leg again. Hearing that, Luna didn't refuse. Don't worry, we've been partners for years. Have I ever shorted you? Luna said, then gave the manager a look. No wonder Luna closed so many deals. Turns out behind her was the manager frantically funneling resources to her. If you're busy tonight, then come home with me now. As for me, I knocked on the hotel room door, rang the bell twice before the door opened. Serafina was wearing the hotel's disposable slippers, hair slightly messy, eyes not even fully open yet. The moment she saw me, she immediately hugged my waist. Callum, I'm so sleepy. I patted Serafina's head. Let's eat first. After eating, you can sleep more. Serafina gave a soft response, then slightly lifted her head. I knew how to cooperate, leaned down and gave her a light kiss. Then the three of us went to a high-end steakhouse. It really was a fancy restaurant. Just this private room alone made my eyes light up. Even Serafina and Chloe were wide-eyed. When we finished eating and were ready to pay, Chloe looked at the bill for tens of thousands, then remembered the steak she hadn't finished, looked at me and said, Bro, do you think if I take the steak home and reheat it, will it still be good? Chloe looked at me with a distressed face. I didn't know why, but looking at that expression made me want to laugh. Then the waiter said, Ms. Jensen, we don't recommend reheating our steaks, especially with a home microwave. It would ruin the original flavor of the ingredients. Chloe's face immediately fell completely. Could only look at me pleadingly. Looking at the leftover steak on her plate, an idea suddenly came to me. I turned to ask the waiter, do you have those small pots? The kind used for cooking instant noodles? The waiter. He was a bit confused why I was asking this, but still nodded, yes we do. Mr. Jensen, would you like some noodles? I nodded, please bring me one. And some vegetables and a pack of instant noodles. The waiter acknowledged, then turned and left. Came back a few minutes later, bringing everything I needed. Then I cooked the noodles right there. Chloe stared at me blankly. What are you doing? I picked up the empty noodle packet. Showed it to them. Cooking noodles, what else? You've never had braised beef noodles. Everyone froze. Braised beef noodles? Yeah, it really is braised beef noodles. Because the noodles in the pot looked exactly like the picture on the package. Image and reality matched perfectly. Not the slightest difference. At the same time, the system also chimed. Congratulations, host, for comprehending the perfect truth of life. Completed hidden main quest. Liberate yourself. Reward, double money welfare. Reward, 10 million cash. Reward, 1 Ferrari convertible, premium edition. Reward, 1 villa in Houston. Reward, 10 premium dining cashback cards. Reward, 10 supreme consumption cashback cards. A long string of rewards left me completely unsure how to express the joy in my heart. Couldn't help but break into a smile. What's with that sneaky smile? I was still immersed in the system space when Chloe's voice rang in my ear. I had to pull my consciousness out. Then heard her say, Bro, what if I'm hungry again? Chloe had clearly just said she was full, but looking at my bowl of braised beef noodles, she couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Couldn't blame her for not being firm, because instant noodles were just too tempting. Serafina also laughed and nodded. Wait, Callum, let me take a picture. I have to capture this moment of you being so extra, Serafina said, then actually took out her phone and snapped a few shots, then posted straight to social media. Now this is what braised beef noodles should look like. After taking the photos, I'd already started eating the noodles. Had to say, this bowl of noodles was genuinely delicious. After all, it used steak worth nearly $10,000, which elevated the $1,000 instant noodles to unexpectedly delicious. I'd proven something. It wasn't that instant noodles weren't good. They were just missing meat. Allow me to cut a few instant noodle brands. Chloe stood beside me staring intently, watching me eat a chopstick of noodles, a bite of meat, occasionally biting into the egg. I even blew on the broth, then took a satisfying sip, making Chloe unable to stand it, bro. Save me 2 pieces. After saying that, she reached out trying to grab the bowl. I dodged immediately. Didn't you say you weren't eating? Right then, my phone rang. I had no choice but to hand the noodle bowl to Chloe. Don't eat it all. I'm going to answer the phone. Chloe answered very quickly, then picked up several pieces of meat and stuffed them in her mouth, face full of satisfaction. Serafina watched me and Chloe fight over noodles. For some reason, felt a bit envious. This was the advantage of having siblings. Made Chloe, who was already full, still fight to eat more. I didn't notice Serafina's envious gaze. Took out my phone to look. It was Marcus calling. I answered. The other end immediately burst with his excited voice. Callum, you really went all out. Used 5 boxes of premium beef to cook instant noodles, right? Looks like Marcus had seen Serafina's post, just looking at the photo. He immediately recognized it as grade 5 beef. Marcus's eye for goods was really on point. I explained, that's not it. My sister ordered 2 pieces. Couldn't finish one, so I made noodles. Marcus sounded helpless. I really give up on you. Grade 5 beef for instant noodles? How'd it taste? I nodded. Pretty good. Suggest you try it. Marcus, you called me. Not just to ask about the beef, right? Marcus quickly said, of course not. I called to report work progress. Almost done hiring everyone? Business license is also being processed, though the license part is a bit slow. Even with connections, it'll take at least a week. Had to say, Marcus's work efficiency was very high. For others, this process would take 2 months. But in Marcus's hands, only 1 week. That was real capability. Though Marcus worked smoothly, thanks to Richard Lawson backing him up. But you couldn't deny, when it came to handling these matters, he was better than me. This I had to admit. Thanks, Marcus. I'd just finished speaking when he said, don't just say thanks. Give me something real. Like grade 5 beef and stuff like that. Hearing me say that, Marcus's voice sounded frantic. No, not right. Should call it obvious hinting. I discovered something. Marcus was also extremely into food. No problem, you pick the place. Just don't hug a whole cow and start gnawing. I answered with a laugh. Just happened to have some premium dining cards. Using more was fine. Also, remember to bring the company's core team. The company's first meal is on me. Hearing that, Marcus was also very satisfied, but hesitated a bit. He said treating the whole company. Didn't need to use grade 5 beef. Company hasn't made a dime yet. Don't go bankrupt after 1 meal. Could tell. He was worrying about money for me. We'll talk about that later. Let's discuss more when I get back. After ending the call, I looked at Chloe. The girl had eaten everything clean. By the time we left the restaurant, it was already 9 p.m. Going downstairs, I discovered something. All 3 of us had drunk red wine, so none of us could drive. Serafina said, Callum, let's get the car tomorrow. We could just take a taxi back. Actually, I thought the same. At most, picking it up tomorrow would be a little inconvenient. I looked at Chloe. You've eaten. You've drunk. I'll call you a taxi home. Who knew? Chloe heard that and immediately hugged Serafina's arm. You're sending me off, but you're not coming home with me? Chloe asked back. I still have something to do. You go first. I really didn't know what to say. I had a little intention, but this little intention couldn't be said out loud, but just hearing me say that. Both Chloe and Serafina understood what I was planning. Serafina's face immediately flushed red, though she hadn't known me for long. But deep in Serafina's heart, she wasn't at all opposed to that with me. The only thing making her hesitate was probably because it would happen in a hotel. Serafina didn't say anything, but Chloe spoke up. You have things to do, go do them. Don't worry, I'll take good care of your sister-in-law. After saying that, Chloe raised her hand to wave. A taxi was just passing by, then pulled Serafina toward it. I hurriedly stopped Chloe. Chloe, tens of thousands worth of beef, and it still can't make you behave? Do you still want your necklace or not? I glared threateningly. If it were before, every time I glared, Chloe would back off immediately. But this time, she not only didn't retreat, she even stepped forward. Who told you to bully me this afternoon? Chloe said and pulled Serafina away again. I still wanted to say something. Serafina had already stopped in front of her. Chloe. Wait, Let me say a few words to your brother. Hearing that, Chloe finally let go of Serafina. Serafina walked over to me, then brought her lips close to my ear, whispered something that made my eyes light up immediately. This is what you said yourself. Don't run away when the time comes. I tilted my head to look at Serafina's face so close, unable to hide my excitement. Yeah, I said it. Seeing me like this. Serafina also laughed. Hearing that sentence made me so excited. She was also very happy. Then you two go. I'll go home and sleep by myself. I didn't hesitate anymore. Kissed Serafina's forehead, then walked away. Chloe stood far away, looking at me blankly, from reluctance at first, to being so satisfied now. Just one sentence apart. Really? Serafina also left with Chloe, leaving me standing there alone, but I wasn't sad at all. On the contrary, I felt a bit excited. Some things truly have blessings in disguise. Right then, my phone rang again. I thought Serafina was calling. Maybe she forgot something. Took it out, and it was an unknown number, showing real estate agent. I immediately knew who it was. Checking the time, it wasn't too late, but not early either. Hesitated a bit, then still answered. Hello? Luna's surprised voice. Mr. Jensen, you still remember me? Are you free now? I want to take you to see some properties. Her voice sounded quite tired. I'm a bit far right now. Besides, it's late. How about tomorrow? I declined, and Luna immediately pleaded, Mr. Jensen, don't you need the storefront urgently? Tonight I'll briefly introduce a few places. It'll be easier to prepare for viewing tomorrow. After all, it's real estate worth tens of millions. Knowing more is better than knowing less. Thinking about it, that made sense. Alright, I'm near Moon Palace Restaurant. After giving the location, I hung up, chose a bar, and walked in. In recent years, the economy developed quickly. Entertainment areas popped up like mushrooms. Bars were everywhere, but divided into two types. Quiet, laid-back lounges with small spaces, and heavily invested nightclubs. Many places had investments of tens of millions or more. This was my first time at a place like this. The atmosphere wasn't bad, just the lighting was a bit dim. On the small stage in the middle, a girl was singing. The song, My Western Liberation. Singing this song in Houston was quite interesting. She sang well, too. I found an inconspicuous empty spot and sat down. A server came over with an iPad. Hello, sir. Would you like something to drink? I took the iPad. It was full of flashy names, like Heart of the Ocean, Deep Love. The illustrations were unrecognizable. I didn't understand any of this. Just get me something non-alcoholic. I handed back the iPad. I wasn't interested in alcohol. Drinking should have limits. After all, getting drunk only made yourself uncomfortable. All right, sir? I'll bring you a lemonade then. He tapped a few times on the iPad. Done. I took out my phone and opened the payment code. One lemonade was $52. Several times more expensive than outside, but 52 to me now was like taking a few extra breaths. Yeah, that's money earned back. The lemonade came quickly. Finally, had time to check the system rewards. Was interrupted by Chloe earlier. Only now could I look carefully. 10 million cash reward from the system. Brought my account balance to 1452 million. Thought I'd have to wait until using the property discount card to become a millionaire. Didn't expect cash to already exceed 10 million. More importantly, now the daily fortune blessing earned over 100,000. Soon the account would exceed 20 million. Perfect timing to establish the company. Otherwise, such large cash flows, even with the system helping to conceal it, hard to avoid leaving traces. Having a company as cover made things much simpler. Could completely use financial techniques to legitimize this money reasonably. The system seemed to read my thoughts. A ding sounded. Money will be transferred through the securities company channel. After the company is established, the system will, based on the importance of employee positions, automatically increase loyalty, maximum up to 100 points. Truly deserving of perfect life. The system took care of everything. Money going through the company account. No more worries about being discovered. Even winning people's loyalty was less effort now. Originally I was worried. Company employees were all Richard Lawson's people. Could push me aside anytime. Planned to use the A5 beef dinner to prove my financial power. Though this way of winning loyalty was a bit crude, but it really worked. Now the system handled it directly. Finally, I could relax. Continued looking at the supercar and real estate. A Ferrari 812 convertible. Though I didn't know much about cars, but with the Ferrari logo, it definitely wasn't cheap. I took out my phone to search. Immediately stunned by the system's generosity. Standard version was already 485 million. The system gave the fully loaded version. Adding options and various taxes, on-road price exceeded 7 million. But so what? After all, it was a gift from the system. Not taking it would be a waste. Dinghos can pick up the car anytime. Each city will have different plates. After claiming, go to Ferrari dealership to pick up. System has paid in full. License plates are also done. Truly an unexpected surprise. In big cities, hardest part of buying a car was the plates, especially in New York. Getting plates was harder than reaching the sky, so I decided to wait until returning to New York. Then pick up the Ferrari 812. The final screen was what really mattered. A Cloud Peak Palace Villa in Houston. When the system notification sounded, I froze for a moment. Cloud Peak Palace was Houston's most upscale villa community, built 2 years ago. Located near downtown. At launch, expected price was $5,400 per square foot, much higher than Houston's average. But the quality absolutely justified it. Smallest unit started at 10,000 square feet, calculated to at least $50 million. This villa alone was half of a small goal, adding other assets. My wealth now definitely exceeded $70 million, if counting the cashback cards. Exceeding $80 million wouldn't be hard. After checking all the gains, I exited the system space, then took a sip of lemonade. Phone rang again. It was Luna calling to ask my location. I said a few words and hung up. A few minutes later, Luna slowly walked over. No longer in her business attire from daytime. Now she wore a red dress. Her already seductive curves were accentuated even more alluringly. Every step was graceful and provocative, making quite a few men around turn to look. She walked straight toward me, smiled and sat down. Mr. Jensen, how did you know I wanted to drink? I was a bit helpless. Did you bring the documents? Luna laughed softly. Don't rush. I'm thirsty. First buy me a drink. After saying that, she sat right next to me. I frowned. Do you need to sit so close? She waved her phone. Of course. All the documents are right here. I looked at my watch. Already 10,030. Luna noticed the Patek Philippe on my wrist. A greedy gleam flashed in her eyes. She ordered a set of bomber cocktails, then leaned even closer to me. This cunning woman clearly didn't just want to close one deal. Doing business with her wasn't simple at all. Luna was definitely not the naive type, only thinking about how to profit the most, whether going through the back door with the manager or latching on to me. To her, it was all the same. And I was younger, richer, who knows, might get even more benefits. When she pressed close, I smelled something strange, mixed with cheap, unpleasant perfume. Made me frown. I shifted to the side. Mr. Jensen, how'd you know I like sitting this close? Luna curved her lips slightly, took out her phone and opened the photo album. Showed me a photo of a 2,800 square foot storefront, right at Linan Street subway station exit, prime location. About 9.5 million. This price was right in my range. 9 to 11 million was all acceptable to me. But after seeing the photos, I shook my head. Too long. Interior design would be very difficult. Got anything else? Luna quickly swiped to the next photo. Yes, here. This one's 2,700 square feet. Second floor, Food Street. 9.7 million. Location is really great. Perfect for opening a restaurant. But I still wanted to see more. She showed a third one, 2,800 square feet in a shopping center. 10.5 million. Foot traffic guaranteed. Storefronts and shopping centers really didn't worry about customers. But that was about it. Mr. Jensen, if you like any of them, you should decide soon. Luna said while leaning even closer. I was only wearing a thin dress shirt, so I clearly felt the softness of her chest. Right then the server came back, carrying several colorful drinks. Your lady ordered bombers. Luna took a glass and handed it to me. I quickly waved my hand. Sorry, I don't drink. These blue, red, purple, yellow drinks looked unsafe. I normally rarely even touched beer. Luna still insisted. Come on, just one drink with me. I really couldn't avoid it. So I took it, downed it in one gulp, then said, let's get to business. One glass of liquor went down. At first, an icy cold sensation slid down my throat. Then immediately, a burning heat rose up, from my throat straight down to my stomach. This taste was really strange. Had both lemon and liquor flavors, and a faint bitterness. No wonder it was called Bomber. Luna still wanted to pressure me into a second glass, but I firmly refused to drink more. Hurriedly took a sip of lemonade to calm down. Couldn't pressure me. Luna did 3 glasses herself in a row. Her face flushed red immediately. Her gaze also started getting hazy. This alcohol hit way too fast. Mr. Jensen, let me introduce this storefront. Luna leaned fully against me. My arm was being rubbed back and forth by her. What man could stand this? Even worse? At some point she'd taken off her heels. Her bare foot was gently brushing against my calf. This level of assault was no joke. This storefront has a great layout. Mine is 300 square feet for the kitchen, can still fit 14 tables. Luna whispered close to my ear. Her hot breath made my ear tingle. She talked while scrolling through her phone album. Suddenly an image appeared that made me freeze wide-eyed. In the photo, Luna was dressed very scantily, like she'd just finished working out and took a picture. I immediately swiped to the next one, but that image was already burned into my mind. I handed back the phone, sorry, but Luna leaned her whole body against me, said I should be the one apologizing. I didn't keep my photos secure. Her gaze was hazy as she added, Mr. Jensen, call me. Nah is fine. She was over 10 years older than me, yet still using such an intimate way of addressing herself. Luna, in her red dress, pressed against my chest. Not only wasn't she angry, she seemed to be waiting for my compliment. Actually, I work out regularly. She whispered that her figure was maintained pretty well. If Mr. Jensen didn't see clearly, then her hand started getting restless. If I still didn't understand what she wanted at this point, then I'd have lived all these years for nothing. Didn't expect a handsome guy like me would also encounter someone using the honey trap. Though she was far from my type, but being actively pursued still felt pretty good. I secretly activated my data eyes, quickly scanned all of Luna's stats. Looks, 77 points. Could still be considered decent. Figure, 85 points. Really was better than average. Purity, 35 points. Then another system prompt appeared. Public transportation isn't as good as private cars. This one has risks. Drive carefully. Seeing those 3 words has risks. I immediately opened the details. After reading, a chill ran down my spine. I stood up abruptly. Sorry, I have a girlfriend. Right when Luna was about to throw herself at me, I stood up and she missed, then fell straight onto the sofa. Good thing it was a sofa, otherwise she would have face-planted. She stared at me blankly, full of confusion. She completely didn't understand why my attitude suddenly changed. She had no idea. I'd just seen through everything about her. If her complexion didn't look so bad, I really wanted to suggest she get a full checkup at the hospital and bring a few of her friends along. Luna forced a smile. Her professional demeanor was still pretty good, Mr. Jensen. I never intended to replace your girlfriend. She knew very well. Someone like me was only good for playing around. Wanting to marry into the family? Dream on. I moved to sit across from her, completely cutting off all her ideas. The honey trap was fine, but drugging the drinks was going too far. Seeing my firm attitude, Luna gritted her teeth, downed all 7 remaining drinks on the table. I'd only had 1 glass earlier. Now, watching her finish them, even her speech became unclear. The power of these bombers truly lived up to their name. Mr. Jensen, this storefront's location is really great. Price is a bit high, but extremely suitable for you. Luna's face was red as a tomato. Her voice started getting hazy. Whether from the alcohol or the lighting, I couldn't tell. I checked the time, almost midnight. In this state, we couldn't discuss business anymore. You're drunk. Let's call it a night. I handed back her phone. But she collapsed on the table and fell asleep. Just talking a moment ago. Next second already snoring. That fast? Seriously. You're not faking it, are you? I pushed gently, but she didn't respond. What a hassle. Now I only had 2 choices. Either take her home or get a hotel room. Hotel room was absolutely out of the question, knowing she'd drugged the drinks. How could I dare touch her? I tried to help her up, but she was limp as mud. No matter what I did, couldn't get her up, and kept having physical contact. What a headache. Was just supposed to look at storefronts, and it turned into this. Maybe she deliberately got herself drunk to create an opportunity for me. Finally, I decided to take her home, used her fingerprint to unlock her phone, scrolled through contacts looking for Honey, but discovered. Under Honey alone, there were 5 or 6 phone numbers. Who was I supposed to call? My phone suddenly rang. I took it out and saw it was Lily calling. Strange, hadn't she already quit? Lily. Mr. Jensen, sorry to bother you. I found a storefront that matches your requirements. Would it be convenient to go look at it with me tomorrow morning? The Luna's situation happened before. Now I had 0 goodwill toward her anymore. Tomorrow works. Contact me then. Before hanging up, I suddenly called out, Wait, do you have Luna's husband's phone number? The other end went silent for a few seconds. Luna came to find you? Yeah, she's completely wasted. Lily's voice suddenly tensed. I'll come right away. I don't know her husband's number, but I know where she lives. I was about to refuse, but thought again and gave her the address. Less than 20 minutes later, Lily arrived. She was wearing loose pajamas, hair messy, her chest slightly heaving with her rapid breathing, clearly rushed out in a hurry. Mr. Jensen, she stood before me, panting, eyes carrying a hint of worry. I put away my phone and asked directly, Lily's here. You know how to drive, right? Lily glanced at Luna, passed out drunk. She nodded. I can drive, but my skills aren't that great. As long as you haven't been drinking, it's fine. I handed her the BMW keys. Car's in the basement. Parked in the underground lot. Lily hesitated a bit. She usually only drove old cars. Now, suddenly having to drive a BMW made her nervous. I called over 2 servers. Help carry my friend out. When they were supporting Luna, I grabbed her purse and phone. Too lazy to care if they took any liberties. Lily carefully drove the car to the front. Together we stuffed Luna into the back seat. I sat in the passenger seat, buckled up and said, "Take her home first. If I'd known it would be this troublesome, I wouldn't have called Luna over." Lily gripped the steering wheel tensely. Speed always stayed under 40. Really wasting the power of this BMW. Lily suddenly spoke up. "Mr. Jensen, I've already quit Anchor Realty." I closed my eyes. The alcohol and drowsiness made my head fuzzy. Go ahead, I'm listening." Lily's voice was a bit anxious. "Please give me another chance," I said flatly. "I only care about the storefront. Everything else isn't my concern." Though Lily was very pretty, everyone had their own life. There were countless beautiful girls. Couldn't fall for everyone I met. Drove over 10 minutes to reach Luna's place. Roads were empty at this hour, so we got there quickly. On the way, Luna's phone rang, showing "Baby's dad." I answered for her. Told her husband to come down and get her. This contact name was interesting. Not husband, not honey, but baby's dad. Seemed like the marriage wasn't great either, but that wasn't my business. "Mr. Jensen, that's the apartment complex ahead." Lily slowed down and drove in. Headlights illuminated a man standing outside, waiting and looking around in the wind. That was Luna's husband. Lily said, "I've met him once before." Car stopped completely. I got out and greeted him. "Mr. Wu, right?" "Yes, that's me." "You're Mr. Jensen?" He looked at me with surprise. He looked much older than Luna, around his 40s. "Ms. Luna's drunk. I brought her back." I didn't mention her trying to get me drunk on purpose. Less trouble that way. "She can't hold her liquor but insists on drinking. Sorry for the trouble," her husband said, then stepped forward to support Luna. This afternoon, she'd told her husband she was meeting a big client tonight. Now I was bringing her back. Clearly, I was that client. Her husband paused slightly. Didn't expect me to be so young. Completely different from his imagination of a greasy, middle-aged businessman. "Mr. Wu, take her up to rest. It's late. I need to head back too." I opened the car door. Luna was sound asleep in the back seat. Lily drove very steadily. Her position hadn't shifted at all. Nah, wake up," her husband called softly, gently shook Luna. But she was completely unconscious. "She drank too much. You'll have to carry her." I stood by the car and reminded him. The thin husband struggled to lift Luna up. Trying to carry her down himself was really tough, but I pretended not to see. Finally, Lily couldn't stand it anymore. "Let me help you." Even though her client was stolen this afternoon, Lily was still very generous. She helped me get Luna out of the car. Her husband carried his drunk wife on his back, stubbornly refused any more help. "Then we'll head out first." Under his grateful gaze, Lily and I got back in the car. "Mr. Jensen, where do you want to go now?" Lily asked while fixing her hair. After I gave my home address. I fell asleep without realizing during the smooth drive, until Lily gently woke me up. "Mr. Jensen, we're here." She handed me the car keys. I shook my head. "It's not safe taking a taxi to sleep. Just drive it home. Come pick me up tomorrow morning." After all, Lily was just helping me find a storefront. The 2-hour round-trip drive wasn't part of her job description. It was already past 1 a.m., and Lily was a beautiful young woman. Having her take a taxi at night wasn't safe at all. Lily wanted to say something, but I'd already gotten out. "Drive safe. If you hit me, I won't pay for it." After saying that, I closed the car door. Lily held the keys, watched me walk away under the streetlights, a hint of daze in her eyes. We'd only met twice, yet I trusted her with my car like this. This trust left Lily a bit flustered. Actually, the car had GPS tracking. I wasn't worried about her running off with it, but Lily didn't know that. After going through so many frustrating things in a row, suddenly being trusted like this, an indescribable feeling rose in Lily's heart. Only when I fully entered the building did she snap out of it. When I got home, my parents were already asleep. Knowing I was out with Chloe, they were at ease. I quietly went to my room and lay down to sleep. Shower could wait until morning. Woke up the next morning. Mom and Dad had already gone out, though the restaurant didn't serve breakfast. They were used to preparing early. I left the ring and watch on the nightstand. After showering, it was already 10 o'clock. I called Serafina. She answered groggily, "Hello." "Callum, I'm not awake yet," I asked with a laugh while drying my hair. "Yeah, stayed up too late talking with Chloe last night. Then you two sleep more. I'll come pick you up for lunch. If you're busy, we can just eat at the hotel." Serafina's voice got softer and softer. That made sense. I'd already arranged to look at properties with Lily. Round trip might take several hours. If there was traffic, it'd be even worse. Said a few words, then hung up, to avoid disturbing her sleep. After hanging up, I immediately called Lily. Hello? Good morning, Mr. Jensen. Phone was answered the moment it rang. Seemed like Lily had been waiting for my call. I paused slightly, then replied, Good morning, Lily. Is it convenient for you to come pick me up now? Need to handle the storefront matter? I'm downstairs at your place. Lily's voice came through. I walked to the window, saw the BMW 7 Series parked downstairs through the glass. Wait a moment, I'll be right down. Hung up, changed clothes, and went downstairs. Lily stood by the car, looking a bit nervous. She'd borrowed my car last night, afraid of delaying my time, so she'd been waiting downstairs since 8 a.m., but didn't dare wake me up. This thoughtfulness made my impression of her even better. When I opened the car door, Lily had already moved to give up the driver's seat. Good morning, Mr. Jensen. I've already contacted the storefront side. We can go look any time. I buckled my seatbelt, turned to ask, Have you eaten breakfast? Lily shook her head. She'd gotten up at 7. By 8, she was already waiting downstairs for me. Had no time at all for breakfast. I immediately decided, then let's eat breakfast first, then look at the storefront, though normally I wasn't too assertive. But since preparing to start a company, I'd begun training my decisiveness. Hearing me say that, Lily realized she really was hungry. Mornings in Houston. Started with a bowl of hot noodles. Been in New York so long. What I missed most was that hometown flavor, along with crispy fried scallion pancakes. Just thinking about it made me crave it. Lily clearly wasn't used to eating so much for breakfast. She only ordered soy milk and fried dough sticks. Her business attire attracted a lot of looks. As for me, I didn't care about image at all, wearing designer clothes, but acting like a true Houston local. Eating noodles while swinging my legs to the rhythm. That was the proper noodle-eating posture. A month away from home, now tasting that flavor again. Happiness welled up inside. Ding, the system suddenly activated. Congratulations, host, for activating hometown cuisine skill. Whenever eating Houston specialty dishes, body will reach peak energy state for the day. Stamina, endurance, learning ability all comprehensively enhanced. This skill came at the perfect time. But what about in New York? Maybe I needed to find an authentic Southern chef. I suddenly thought of Sophia, that girl from Louisiana who cooked amazing spicy food. Southern and Cajun cuisine were actually similar. If I hired her to cook for me personally, spending a few thousand per meal but getting fully charged status was totally worth it. But anyway, still had to finish handling the Houston matters first. I drove to the storefront Lily found for me, not far from my home. Got there in less than half an hour. The storefront was in a small plaza in the CBD, previously used for food service, surrounded by several office buildings. Steady foot traffic, very suitable for opening a restaurant. Only 11 o'clock. Already many delivery drivers bustling around. Looked like lunch would be very busy. Lily introduced. Mr. Jensen, this storefront is 2,600 square feet. Because of the great location. Price is nearly $4,000 per square foot, total around $11 million. Previous tenant rented by the year, but returned it due to lack of capital. I calculated quickly. Yearly rent here had to be at least $500,000. Pressure really wasn't small, but buying it would definitely be profitable. Real estate prices would rise again anyway. Where's the owner? I asked because I actually already wanted to buy it, though it exceeded budget by $1 million. But wasn't short on money now. Plus, I still had the 90% off property card. Considered a backup plan. Lily answered. The owner is in this plaza area. I'll call her right away. The plaza had dozens of stores. Hard to pinpoint location by phone. After the call, the owner told us to wait in front of the storefront. She'd come right over. Lily and I waited at the entrance for about 2 minutes. Then saw someone familiar approaching, calling her familiar. Actually only met once yesterday. Mr. Jensen, this is the owner. Lily pointed at the woman approaching. I was a bit surprised. I'd assumed the owner would be some middle-aged man. Didn't expect it to be Auntie Tang, the one who was buying rings with Serafina yesterday. Auntie Tang also recognized me. After all, a guy walking around with 2 beautiful girls was hard to forget. She came over to greet me. Young Jensen, we meet again. I responded, Yes, Auntie Tang. Lily beside me was immediately surprised. You two know each other? Auntie Tang said while unlocking the door. Didn't expect young Jensen wanted to buy a storefront. I didn't expect this was Auntie Tang's property. Auntie Tang smiled. Actually, this whole area is mine. Both Lily and I froze. This entire plaza had nearly 100 stores, each worth tens of millions. So Auntie Tang's assets were at least over $1 billion. I thought I was about to become truly wealthy. In the end, just looked up and met a real tycoon, different from Richard Lawson's type. Auntie Tang was in real business. A solid 100+ stores. Rent alone was several million monthly. Thinking it over. Actually, it wasn't bad either. With the fortune blessing skill, my income was even higher than Auntie Tang's. Thinking that, my mood also calmed down. Auntie Tang clearly noticed. Her gaze at me changed. Being able to calm down this quickly? This young man isn't simple. Auntie Tang continued. Actually, these aren't really mine. I was just speaking casually. They're all assets my husband left behind. At the time, our son was still young, and I didn't know business, so I bought them all to rent out. Didn't expect to make quite a bit. Lily and I listened in amazement. This plaza was built over 15 years ago, meaning, Auntie Tang bought all these storefronts 15 years ago, Lily exclaimed in shock. Auntie Tang just smiled without answering. 15 years ago, Houston real estate was just starting to develop. Land prices were still cheap. Now housing prices had multiplied several times. I muttered to myself, and she says she doesn't know business? Auntie Tang changed the subject. Back to the main point. This store has a great location. Foot traffic guaranteed. Taking it is a sure win. I understood this was a sales pitch. Property owners always like to exaggerate, like during the health supplement craze. Every seller claimed you'd become a billionaire, but I had my own calculations. After Auntie Tang finished, I smiled and replied, Auntie Tang, I'm buying this storefront to open a southern restaurant. This place isn't quite suitable. For example, wastewater disposal is a big issue. It was a real problem. Why did upscale areas always have Western restaurants? Besides being fancy, Western food produced less waste, but Southern cuisine was different. Lots of leftovers, couldn't just collect and resell them. All kitchen waste had to be disposed of separately, couldn't just dump it down the drain. She praised her property, I pointed out flaws. That was how to negotiate. Logically speaking, Auntie Tang should counter to emphasize the property's value, but she didn't do that at all. Instead nodded, young Jensen is right. This storefront really isn't convenient for a southern restaurant. How about this? I'll give you a discount. 9.3 million, okay? I was stunned. Completely not what I expected. Not only didn't raise the price, but proactively lowered it at this price. After all procedures, total would be right around 10 million, though only 500,000 cheaper. But for a multi-million-dollar transaction, this discount really wasn't much. But it had reached my psychological price point. Deal. Auntie Tang's so straightforward. I won't bother haggling more. 10 million was exactly the limit on my 90% off card. I could get maximum discount to 5 million off. All problems solved. Then let's prepare to sign the contract. A multi-million-dollar deal. Settled in just 3 sentences. Lily stood beside us, unable to get a word in. Was this how rich people negotiated? Multi-million-dollar deals decided just like that. Basically didn't need the agent to intervene. Of course, mainly because I was in a hurry. Wanted to settle quickly so I could return to school at ease. Luckily, this store was originally food service. Previous owner didn't take anything when leaving. Just some dust accumulated. Clean it up and it's ready to use. After finishing the procedures, I planned to call a cleaning service for a deep clean. Auntie Tang, I couldn't help asking. Can you tell me why you want to sell this store? There were some things I didn't say directly, but everyone understood. For example, were there any debts on the property or any financial issues? That would cause trouble later. Lily quickly answered first. Mr. Jensen, don't worry. This property's ownership is very clear, only transferred once in 15 years, completely under Mrs. Tang's name. As the agent, investigating property status was her responsibility. High commission meant no cutting corners. Any problems, and the agent was liable. Actually, I was just asking for formality. If there were problems, the system would have warned me long ago. Auntie Tang was very straightforward. I want to sell a few storefronts to invest in a new project. I felt a slight stir of interest, but didn't say more, just nodded. People who met by chance shouldn't pry too deep into others' affairs. Lily finished organizing the documents and said, if there are no issues, I'll start the procedures immediately. I looked at my watch and called her back. What's the fastest this can be done? Lily calculated for a moment, then answered. The procedures themselves aren't complicated, but it's National Day holiday. Some processes will be delayed. I nodded. Just do it as fast as possible. I need this store for other purposes. Mr. Jensen, don't worry. I'll definitely handle it as quickly as possible. Just as she finished speaking, I noticed Lily's face tighten slightly when her phone rang. It was Luna. Driving past, I could faintly hear her voice. Seemed like even after sobering up, she was still pestering, but I completely ignored people like her. Compared to her, I valued Lily's work capability more. After hanging up, Lily immediately put Luna aside. Though her client was stolen before, now she had nothing to hold back about. But Lily didn't want to waste this opportunity. She quickly spotted a loophole. Though the manager had fired her, Headquarters hadn't approved it yet. The resignation agreement wasn't signed either. There was still a chance. A glint of ambition flashed in Lily's eyes. She'd already submitted all evidence of the manager's abuse of power to headquarters. Who would win was still unknown. Now she was going all in. Most important was completing my deal well, because it was National Day. Some things needed government agencies to handle. No matter how fast, there'd be some delay. As for how Lily would prepare those things, I didn't care. Currently, all my attention was on another system reward, a Cloud Peak Palace villa. I gripped the steering wheel while thinking. Right then my phone rang. Callum, are you done with your business? Serafina's voice came from the other end. Before she could finish speaking, I heard my sister's cheerful sounds through the phone. Seemed like these two girls had gotten together to play again. Probably heading back soon. What's Chloe up to? I watched the road, while smiling and asking, I never expected your mall to have so many fun things. Chloe's been dragging me around everywhere. Serafina's voice carried a light cheerfulness. Chloe isn't good at much, but she's great at having fun. My business here should be done in about 2 or 3 hours. I'll drive over to pick you two up then. I'll treat you two beauties to a really nice dinner, I teased while driving. Before Serafina could respond, Chloe had already lunged at the phone and shouted, Bro, I want a feast. Don't be stingy in front of your sister-in-law. Chloe's loud voice made me hurriedly lower the volume. All right. Just have fun. I'll come find you two in a bit. After ending the call, I drove into downtown Houston. Cloud Peak Palace was a luxury villa community developed by a top national corporation, a truly extravagant area. Just getting out of the car, a salesperson quickly came out to greet me, right as I opened the car door. He caught a glimpse of the watch on my wrist. His gaze paused for a moment. The smile on his face grew even brighter. For people in this profession, a keen eye was a mandatory skill. When he saw the Patek Philippe on my wrist, he immediately identified his target. His attitude toward me became much more respectful. Sir, please come inside. Are you here to view homes or... I glanced at the name tag on his chest. Just an ordinary salesperson. As I stepped into the lobby, I said casually, 2 days ago I paid in full for a villa. Here today to handle some related procedures. Hearing this, the salesperson's footsteps faltered. But he immediately smiled and led me to the lounge area. Politely asked me to wait a moment, then hurriedly turned and walked away quickly. Very soon he'd brought Manager Wang over. The manager heard the situation and immediately took it very seriously. Without another word, grabbed an iPad and came over. Sir, my surname is Wang. You can call me William. May I ask your name? Manager Wang asked me with a face full of smiles. I nodded and answered lightly, My surname is Jensen. Mr. Jensen, here's the situation. Your villa has been fully paid for. Now there's just the title transfer procedures. If you need, we can assist with everything. Manager Wang asked extremely attentively. I nodded flatly. Manager Wang said nothing more. Led me straight to the 3rd floor VIP office area. Mr. Jensen, rest assured, we'll process this as quickly as possible. The procedures won't take too long. We'll handle most of the work. You just need to confirm everything's correct and sign. Since the system had previously paid in full, buying this villa for me, plus the distinctive aura I carried, and the Patek Philippe on my wrist, with Manager Wang's eye for people. One glance was enough to know I wasn't ordinary. For a big client like me, he didn't even need to say anything. Manager Wang would automatically place me in the most valued customer group, and the group most worth maintaining long-term relationships with. The entire process I just needed to pick up a pen and sign. All other related procedures were completely handled by the sales center. There were even some procedures that Manager Wang personally ran to handle. Everything took just over an hour. Such high efficiency and good service was all built on money. But who said I had such capability? Manager Wang collected the final contract, his face full of smiles. Mr. Jensen, basically there are no more procedures needed. As for the property ownership contract and deed, they'll probably have to wait until after National Day to be approved, because the relevant departments are on holiday. But rest assured, as soon as they're back at work, we'll prioritize processing your paperwork. Manager Wang said enthusiastically. I nodded flatly. All right, I hope you can do it quickly. Manager Wang nodded repeatedly. After receiving the villa keys, I left. Manager Wang stood outside, watching my car drive away. This young man is not simple at all. Back in the office, he took a sip of tea and remarked with emotion, Of course I had no idea about Manager Wang's assessment of me. I was driving, heading toward Houston's largest mall. Serafina and Chloe were there. Women's shopping stamina was truly terrifying. From morning to afternoon, those two still weren't tired when I found them, on Serafina's face. And Chloe's, there was still excitement. Clearly, a whole day of shopping like this didn't make them feel tired at all. Their hands were full of stuff. The moment they saw my car approaching, Chloe smiled and jumped up, without saying a word, already rushing to stuff everything in the car. I'm exhausted, bro. If you don't treat us to a feast today, I'm telling Mom and Dad. I noticed that ever since Serafina was around, Chloe wasn't afraid of me anymore, like she gained backup. I narrowed my eyes, voice carrying a hint of threat. Looks like what you wanted. I can't buy it for you anymore. Unexpectedly, Chloe wasn't scared at all. Instead, hooked arms with Serafina and giggled. She'll buy it for me. I don't want your stuff anymore. Serafina, standing beside, just smiled softly, sighed, pretended to be troubled, and said, looks like my dear little sister isn't afraid of me at all anymore. You want to follow your sister-in-law now, don't you? Of course. I've always wanted a big sister. On the way back, Serafina just smiled, listening to me and my sister bicker constantly. This warm atmosphere made her unconsciously relax, while I teased my sister and drove. But I was always paying attention to Serafina's state. After all, before this, Serafina had practically been pushed by her stepmother to the point of running to me. Seeing the gloom on Serafina's face fade away, I also felt at ease. As for that message from that vicious stepmother, I definitely wasn't going to let her off. At some point, the car had gradually stopped. I'd already chosen where to have dinner. It was a rather secluded home-style restaurant in Houston. Serafina was already used to this kind of private dining, while Chloe's eyes were full of curiosity. After all, a restaurant hidden deep in an alley like this, without someone leading the way, who would know this was a restaurant? Chloe rarely came to places like this, and, once again, she clearly realized her brother really had made big money from investing. As expected from a famous restaurant, the specialty dishes were indeed very delicious. But I unexpectedly discovered, speaking of delicious flavors, perhaps Sophia's cooking was still a notch better. Even so, this restaurant also had several dishes done very well. Serafina didn't care much about food. Chloe, on the other hand, loved it, ate until her belly was round. Looking at my sister's state, I could only shake my head helplessly. Just got full and already sleepy, Chloe. Fell asleep as soon as she got in the car. I drove Serafina back to the hotel first, then took this carefree little sister home. Just entered my room when my phone rang, opened it to see a message. It was from Tyler. Since Tyler told me about Dana bad-mouthing me behind my back, he'd also been in less contact. Didn't know why so late at night. He suddenly messaged. I opened the chat, clicked on Tyler's message. Callum, class reunion tomorrow, you coming? This time almost everyone will be there. If you're free, come by. Bringing your sister-in-law is fine too. Let us see the world. Opening the chat. Inside was a string of messages from Tyler. I thought about it. These days, the procedures for the storefront and villa were being handled by Lily and manager Wong. I didn't have anything to do, just a small class reunion. Since Tyler put it that way, might as well go. As for what Tyler said about bringing my sister-in-law to show off, I wasn't planning to listen. Whether Serafina wanted to meet my friends, she couldn't choose that chaotic class reunion. Close friends could just get together separately. Too many people made private conversation difficult. Thinking that, I messaged Tyler back, said I'd go tomorrow, but don't expect to meet my sister-in-law. Tyler immediately replied, sent a crying sticker, but didn't push it. For him, me agreeing to attend the reunion was already giving him a lot of face. As for whether my girlfriend came or not, that was my own business. No reason to force it, because there was a reunion tomorrow. I saw messages flooding the class group. Even quiet people were jumping into chat, but most were discussing tomorrow's event. That kind of chatting wasn't interesting to me at all. So I just exited the group. I showered and returned to my room. Had a brief exchange with Tyler. I put down my phone, gazed pensively at the pitch-black night sky outside the window. Didn't expect just a few months. Thinking back to my high school days, I only felt it was strangely distant, as if in just a few months, I'd stepped onto a new level of life. Unconsciously looking back at my high school friends, I even felt they were too naive. The next day at the agreed time, I sat in my BMW 7 Series, leisurely drove to the reunion location. Just arrived at the hotel chosen as the gathering spot. I glanced through the window. Already saw Tyler standing there looking around. Tyler looked left and right but still didn't see me, when, suddenly, a BMW 7 Series braked sharply right in front of him, screeched to a stop. Tyler instinctively wanted to dodge to the side, but saw the car window rolling down, and heard a familiar voice by his ear. Tyler. Tyler bent down, looked inside the car. Callum, you're something else? Driving a luxury car now? Made it big in college? Tyler looked at the car and said with some envy. After all, men rarely weren't into cars, especially someone like Tyler, who currently didn't have the financial ability to buy a car like this. Let's talk later. I'm going to park. Tyler grinned, stood right there, stared intently at the BMW 7 Series driving into the parking lot, waited for me to walk over. Tyler punched my shoulder lightly. Looks like you're living well now. He teased me like that. I laughed, didn't answer, just walked into the lobby with Tyler. This time, Wong organized it. That's why they chose such a fancy hotel. As we walked, Tyler casually briefed me, because the reunion was during National Day. Almost all classmates could make it back. Nearly the whole class was here. Even our old homeroom teacher was invited. Everyone's probably arrived by now, Tyler said while pushing open the door. Sure enough, the hall had many familiar faces. Seeing me and Tyler walk in, everyone's eyes turned our way. Oh, it's Callum. Everyone who saw me smiled warmly. I'd sent red packets in the class group before. Everyone received a nice sum. So now, seeing me, these old friends were all happy. I greeted a few close friends, then followed Tyler to sit down. Callum, I heard you have a girlfriend now. What does your sister-in-law look like? We've never met her. Tyler was extremely curious about my girlfriend, though he knew for sure she couldn't possibly be as ugly as Dana had said. That kind of aggressive fabrication. But being human, everyone's curious. I laughed. Want to know that badly? Another time. I'll bring everyone to meet her later. Tyler and the guys beside us laughed heartily. By the way, how's college? Columbia must be fun, right? Looking at everyone's admiring gazes, I just smiled lightly and shook my head. College is pretty much the same everywhere. Nothing special, though I said it modestly. Of course, in their eyes, it wasn't like that. After all, Columbia was a gathering place for talents. If life there was really identical to other schools, then why did everyone fight to get into Columbia? Those words were just me being humble. Everyone understood. After chatting for a while, that feeling of distance caused by time and space gradually faded away. Everyone talked like before. I feel like New York has changed so much now. Change is inevitable. The more they talked, the guys' gazes all fell on me. I just smiled without saying anything. Tyler, hearing this, spoke up. Just now, Callum actually drove a BMW 7 Series here. He just said that. His eyes again showed envy. The guys beside also widened their eyes. Callum, that watch of yours is pretty nice. Where'd you buy it? A guy from a poor family curiously looked at my wrist and asked. I laughed and answered, just bought it randomly, nothing special. But not everyone couldn't recognize quality. The guys from well-off families hesitated a bit, not sure whether to ask or not. Right then the door was pushed open again. Seeing who walked in, everyone's faces showed clear joy. None other than our high school homeroom teacher we hadn't seen in a long time. Ms. Carter. Ms. Carter back in high school had always cared about us a lot. I had to say she was a very good homeroom teacher. So when Ms. Carter came in, almost everyone stood up. Ms. Carter, hello teacher. Everyone greeted in unison. Ms. Carter looked refreshed with a kind face, smiled as she walked in. Everyone sit down. Don't be too formal, Ms. Carter said while laughing. Among all the young faces, she inadvertently spotted me. My every gesture was clearly different from those classmates who just entered college. From clothing to demeanor, I stood out significantly. Callum, if I remember correctly, you got into Columbia, right? You've changed quite a bit since starting college. Ms. Carter walked over to me while smiling. I smiled and nodded. Ms. Carter had always treated me very well before, so I also respected her greatly. Ms. Carter was about to turn away when her gaze inadvertently stopped on the watch I was wearing. When she walked in, she'd already noticed the clothes I was wearing weren't cheap, but only when she saw the Patek Philippe on my wrist was she truly surprised. The moment she saw that watch, her first reaction was disbelief. After all, from her previous impression, my family didn't seem well off at all. Yet now I could wear a Patek Philippe. She instinctively looked me over once more. The watch I was wearing happened to be the model that Ms. Carter had really liked before, just that her financial situation didn't allow it. Now one glance was enough to tell real from fake. The one I wore was genuine, because she'd studied this brand carefully before. She knew every detail. Callum, seems like what you've experienced in college is quite different from others. Ms. Carter looked at me meaningfully. I also noticed her gaze and understood what she was hinting at, so I smiled, followed her toward her seat. Ms. Carter asked if I'd done some small investments. She looked at me with a humble smile. I don't think what you've done is small at all, but since you're already at Columbia, if you have the ability, learning more is good too. Most of the others nearby also didn't understand what Ms. Carter and I were talking about, but those close to me like Tyler now also understood how much I'd changed. During the gathering, I could clearly feel Ms. Carter was much more enthusiastic toward me. Most of her questions revolved around investing, though I only told her that I'd made some money from investing. Actually, this kind of thing required market sensitivity. Whether to buy or sell, you had to be decisive. I took a sip of tea while answering those gathered around. Tyler's family wasn't super rich, but they were the type that didn't lack for anything. When he heard me mention recent investments, he hesitated for a moment, then leaned in and whispered, "My parents have been controlling me strictly lately. I've managed to hide some private money. How about I give it to you to hold and invest for me? I don't need to get rich. Just want to keep my money safe," Tyler said seriously. Mentioning his parents, searching through his private stash, his face twisted in pain. Could tell his family really kept him on a tight leash. The others, seeing his expression, burst out laughing. The atmosphere because of this also brightened up. Actually, Tyler's art school was also expensive. Without some family money, it'd be hard to keep up, but because he attended an ordinary art school, his parents worried he'd go astray, so they controlled him so strictly. Wanting to hold tight to his wallet, though Tyler complained a bit much, but honestly speaking, he wasn't greedy for money. He figured money just sitting there was just sitting there. Might as well give it to me to try investing. Said it was to let his bro practice his skills. Better than spending it wastefully. My mind had always been a level above Tyler's. Plus, I was a Columbia student. Giving me his money, he felt very at ease. Hearing Tyler's proposal, I nodded in agreement without hesitation. Even small mosquitoes are still meat. Plus, Tyler was a true brother. This small favor I could help with. Don't worry. I won't let you lose money, I promised firmly. But Tyler didn't take my words to heart. In his mind, investing was all about luck. As long as I didn't lose too much of his money, it was fine. He had no idea he'd just hopped on my rocket ship. While we were chatting, someone brought up another topic. They dragged Dana into it. "Dana, didn't you say last time that Callum has a girlfriend?" Before Dana could even open his mouth, the people beside were already chiming in. He also said he wanted to see what Callum's girlfriend looked like. Since arriving at the reunion, Dana had been ignored by everyone, sitting alone, looking bored. Now that someone actively asked, he couldn't hold back. His eyes flashed with unconcealed malice. "I've obviously met her already," Dana said, then squeezed into the group of girls, found a spot to sit down, with an expression like he knew everything, looking toward me not far away. In Dana's eyes suddenly flashed a complicated emotion. "That girlfriend Callum found? Don't know if she drugged him, or what? Short and ugly, and so fat she doesn't have a single curve," Dana said while smearing Serafina. The others heard him speak as if it were true. The more they listened, the more curious they got. "Really looks like that? How can Callum stand it?" a girl beside said contemptuously. Dana stomped his foot, eyes rolling around, lies rolling off his tongue smoothly as truth. "Can't you people see? He's covered in designer brands, probably being kept by some rich older woman, and those women are never pretty. Isn't it popular now to skip 20 years of hard work? Who knows, the red packets he got the other day might have been her money." Dana spoke with increasing enthusiasm, the lies sounding more and more real, making the girls without their own opinions somewhat believe it was true. So he's being kept. If that's true. Then I looked down on Callum. A few girls muttered, and the smug look on Dana's face became even more obvious. At this moment, a girl let out a cold laugh. "You've told so many lies. Even you believe them now." Dana whipped his head around. The speaker was none other than Lily Wang, the one whose red packet he'd stolen the other day. "What do you know to say I'm lying? Every word I said is true," Dana argued back. Lily had never liked Dana, but without evidence, she just pursed her lips and said nothing more. Right when Dana was enthusiastically smearing me, my phone rang. "Callum, are you almost done over there?" Serafina's voice came through the phone. Before I could answer, Tyler already shouted, Ooh, what's this? Don't tell me. That sister-in-law calling to check on you?" Tyler's shout made everyone's eyes in the room all focus on me. Serafina, on the other end, was made to blush by Tyler's shout. Originally, she wasn't even planning to call. It was Chloe, who egged her on to fulfill her girlfriend duties, had to call and check in on time. Serafina was rushed by Chloe, so she dialed. Who knew the moment she called, she'd hear Tyler's hollering voice. That sister-in-law made her face red to her ears, but her heart felt sweetly happy. At least she knew I'd publicly acknowledged her in front of my friends as the person I held in my heart. I patted Tyler's shoulder and said, "All right, stop scaring your sister-in-law." Serafina on the other end called softly, "Callum, is your gathering almost over? I've had some drinks. You and Chloe come pick me up, I said to Serafina with a smile. The moment she heard me mention drinking, her worry made her shyness disappear. Don't drag yourself. We're coming right now. I smiled and hung up. The girl's side also started buzzing. After Tyler's shout, the girls' gazes mostly fell on me, especially after hearing what I just said. When they heard me ask Serafina to come pick me up, Dana's expression could no longer be described as just ugly. Lily had been observing Dana's expression, seeing him look this terrible now. She understood a few things in her heart. The real person will be here soon, when she arrives. Hey, I really want to see what this sugar mama looks like, Lily said mockingly. Most people at this point also turned around, unconsciously glancing at Dana. Everyone could see his expression was extremely ugly. By now, Dana's face had gone pale. He didn't expect me to ask Serafina to come. Didn't that mean the lies he'd just made up were about to be exposed? Yet Dana still kept up his tough talk, determined to act stubborn to the end. Let her come, I'm not scared. At most, she's just an ordinary girl. His mouth was tough, but his voice had clearly softened. A girl who'd been annoyed by him for a while stood up and said, just now you said she was ugly. Now you're saying she's just ordinary. Dana bit his lip, unable to say anything, just getting more and more restless, heart full of frustration. Less than half an hour later, Serafina and Chloe had arrived at the hotel entrance. Serafina wore a shy expression. Callum is at a class reunion. Is it okay for me to go in? Chloe immediately understood. Serafina was getting shy again, though Serafina's background was far from lacking. But, first time meeting my high school friends, she couldn't help feeling a bit nervous. Chloe rolled her eyes, immediately said, Sister-in-law, don't be shy. Remember that Dana guy I told you about? I heard from my brother. That guy is shameless beyond belief. He's also at this reunion today. Who knows? Probably smearing my brother in there right now. Now it's time for sister-in-law to make an appearance. Hearing what Chloe said, Serafina's nervousness and shyness vanished instantly. What happened at the lingerie store the other day? Dana's vicious words. Serafina still remembered clearly, just thinking about that guy. She bristled like a hedgehog, strode into the hotel with full momentum. Seeing that murderous silhouette, Chloe laughed and hurried to follow. Looks like her future sister-in-law was the type who protected her own fiercely. Serafina had asked me for the room number beforehand, so as soon as she entered, she found a staff member to lead the way. Before long, they'd arrived at the door. Chloe linked arms with Serafina, pushed open the door, and walked in. At this kind of class reunion, it was definitely noisy. Knocking might not even be heard. Better to just open the door and go in. The moment the door opened, the noise in the room immediately died down. Hard to imagine in such a bustling hotel there'd be a room this silent. All eyes fell on the door, looking at the two beautiful girls standing there. Chloe shared some resemblance with me, so everyone recognized. She was my little sister, and the girl linking arms with Chloe was the real focal point that made the whole room freeze. Even Tyler's eyes went wide. He knew my standards were high, but didn't expect I could actually find such a stunning beauty. Serafina's figure and looks were both absolutely exceptional. Almost the moment she pushed open the door, she became the center of attention. After the guys came back to their senses, everyone looked at me with undisguised envy. Not bad, Callum. What kind of luck did you stumble into? A girl this beautiful actually goes for you. I just smiled lightly, accepting all the teasing around me. Every guy's gaze couldn't leave Serafina, though everyone had seen pretty girls before. But someone like Serafina, one look and you knew she was campus queen level, not the type you see every day. As for the girl side, when they saw Serafina, they immediately went silent. The mysterious veil over my girlfriend in their minds was torn apart in an instant. A few girls suddenly understood why Dana would jealously make up such malicious lies. A girl this beautiful, with this figure, not hard to understand why someone like Dana would develop such ugly jealousy. Really, whether it's figure or face, she crushes Dana by miles. And calling this a sugar mama? Heard that's the type of woman who keeps young men. Lily immediately seized the opportunity to stomp on him again, mocking Dana. Dana's face had turned green. Lily's words, choked him until he couldn't speak. But I have to admit, the outfit she's wearing isn't cheap at all, another girl said quietly. Not hard to notice. Her voice also carried some jealousy and admiration. I just heard Tyler saying, Callum lately seems to have made a round in the stock market, made some good money from a few small deals. He earned money through his own ability. How could a college student be keeping another college student? I heard Callum's girlfriend goes to the same school. I don't think this looks like a sugar relationship. A few more sensible girls started whispering. had better judgment than those others. I don't think this is a cougar keeping a young man situation. Clearly they're well matched, that's more like it. Lily glanced at Dana. Said something satisfying. Serafina also didn't expect that just pushing open the door, the whole room would go this quiet. Vaguely wondered if something was wrong with her outfit. Quietly asked Chloe, "Is there something on my face? Why isn't anyone saying anything?" Chloe, standing beside, clearly saw the surprise on everyone's faces, so immediately winked mischievously. "Sister-in-law, you're underestimating the killing power of your beauty." While everyone still hadn't recovered, I'd already stepped forward, welcomed Serafina and my sister in, then said, "All right, my family's here to pick me up. I'm not going out with everyone after this. It's getting late." Tyler immediately grabbed my arm. "Callum, that's not cool. Sister-in-law just showed up, and you already want to take her home and hide her?" I laughed and punched him. "It's late today. Let's get together another time." Said that, but I still turned around, introduced Tyler and the guys to Serafina. Serafina smiled, greeted each one in turn. I also introduced her to Ms. Carter. The teacher laughed and gave a thumbs up. "This kid's got good taste." I just smiled without answering, while Serafina blushed. Chloe, on the other hand, looked extremely smug. Could tell this little girl was bursting with joy inside. I don't just have good taste. I've got good luck too. Sister-in-law really is a rare beauty. I agree with that. Close brothers like Tyler beside me all immediately nodded in agreement. "All right, let's get together another day. Drive safe going home tonight," Ms. Carter said with a smile. After saying that, I led the two girls to say goodbye to everyone, turned and left the hotel. Though I'd already left, I was still the main character of this class reunion. Everyone was amazed that in such a short time, I'd changed so much. Couldn't hide their admiration for my current life. Ms. Carter was getting older. Seeing it was getting late, she smiled and left. After the teacher left, the others also gradually dispersed. If you asked who left the deepest impression at this reunion, besides me, it was my girlfriend, Serafina. Even many years later, in their memories, they still clearly remembered that appearance of me and Serafina. Serafina drove me and Chloe to the entrance of our neighborhood. "Need me to walk you in?" I looked at her and said with a smile. Serafina shook her head. "No need. You've been drinking. Go rest early. I can get back on my own." I nodded, "Then drive carefully." Serafina softly acknowledged, then drove my car away. When she was near the hotel waiting at a red light, a girl on the roadside looked at the BMW, looked again to make sure. Not until Serafina stepped on the gas and drove off. Did the girl on the roadside come back to her senses? That person was none other than Lily, the real estate agent I'd hired last time. The reason Lily was still out on the street this late was she'd just finished handling some procedures related to the storefront I bought. The next morning when I woke up, I checked my phone. The college class group Professor Lawrence had posted new announcements about class officer positions, basically except for class president and vice president. There weren't many changes, but the new vice president was someone I knew. It was Sophia, the former student council officer. She was capable and very hardworking. Everyone was fine with Sophia being vice president. No one had any objections. Sophia had always had good relationships with everyone in class, plus now in everyone's eyes. As long as it wasn't that former class president, who specialized in bullying classmates, anyone could be vice president. Besides, when she was still a student council officer, Sophia had treated everyone well. I scrolled through the group messages, then exited. To me, this was just a small matter. Just as I put down my phone, my sister Chloe burst through the door. "Bro, I want to go hang out with sister-in-law. Hurry up and drive me there." I was startled by Chloe's sudden door opening. Comes into the room without knowing to knock. Every day just wants to hang out with sister-in-law. Though I said that, I still got up and headed for the door. Halfway there, I suddenly turned back to look at Chloe. Said, "Sister-in-law took the car yesterday, remember?" Chloe smacked her forehead. "I forgot about that. Let me call sister-in-law." Chloe stuck out her tongue and made a face, then glanced out the window. A familiar car had stopped right at our building entrance. Looks like sister-in-law and I really are connected. Don't even need to call to know to come pick each other up. Chloe turned around and immediately abandoned her brother, grabbed her bag, and ran straight outside. I shrugged helplessly. Didn't understand how those two girls could have so much energy. Today they'd even planned to go hiking together. Too bad I was busy today. Couldn't go hiking with those two beauties. Most of the procedures should be almost done today. I needed to go check on things. Plus, Chloe had some things she wanted to talk about privately with Serafina. If I really went along, Chloe probably would have trouble speaking up. Living with my sister for so many years, how could I not notice she was acting different today? after leaving the house. I sent a message to Serafina. My silly little sister is in your hands. Please keep an eye on her. Early morning, the person I needed to meet was none other than Lily. Lily held a thick stack of documents, all the necessary contract materials. Being able to complete so many procedures in such a short time, though Anchor Realty had cleared the way pretty smoothly. Most of it was still thanks to Lily's outstanding personal ability. Could say if it were someone else, no matter how good they were at the job, they'd probably have to wait an extra 2 or 3 days. I also didn't expect Lily's efficiency to be this fast. Looking at the documents in her hands, I nodded with great satisfaction. Your efficiency isn't bad. So now, this storefront completely belongs to me, right? Lily heard me ask and immediately nodded. Yes, that's right, Mr. Jensen. All procedures are now complete, including all related taxes and fees. Everything has been handled. Lily really was capable. Completely unlike a young person lacking experience. The processing fees were even lower than I'd expected. I was very satisfied. Took back all the documents and contracts. But just as I turned to leave, Lily hesitated for a moment, finally grabbed her bag and followed. I'm sorry, Mr. Jensen. I know. From here on, we probably won't have any more dealings. But for this matter, I really want to thank you properly. It's also lunchtime now. I'd like to treat you to a meal. Hope Mr. Jensen can give me the honor. Lily walked beside me holding her bag, said everything she wanted to say in one breath. Perhaps if I refused, Lily would always feel like she owed me a favor. I paused, turned to look at her. Given how efficiently you worked, I'll accept your invitation. After saying that, I paused slightly, smiled and nodded at Lily in agreement. A bright smile immediately appeared on Lily's face. There's a pretty good Western restaurant nearby. Mr. Jensen, is that okay? Clearly, Lily had prepared in advance to invite me. I didn't really care what we ate. Anything's fine. I answered lightly. The Western restaurant Lily chose was actually a bit beyond my expectations. The atmosphere was quite elegant. The food was also good. Lily even ordered a bottle of wine. Mr. Jensen, a toast to you. I'm really grateful that you trusted me and gave me this deal to handle. Halfway through the meal, Lily was already a bit tipsy. She raised her wine glass to me, then drained it in one go. After drinking for a while, for some reason her eyes reddened. Mr. Jensen, you're probably still in college, right? Society nowadays is really too complicated. I could tell Lily was drunk, but I didn't interrupt her pouring out her heart. Actually, Lily didn't look bad. Eyes reddened. Also carried a vulnerable, pitiful look. But I wasn't the type to be bewitched by beauty. Just in that moment, I really did feel a bit of compassion. The situation between Luna and Lily. It wasn't like I didn't know. Newcomers being bullied by veterans. I understood this all too well. I quit my job, but before I quit, I reported those 2 scumbags. If I lose my job, they shouldn't expect to be comfortable either. Not sure what she remembered. A satisfied smile appeared on Lily's face. Earlier, when Lily brought the big contract back to Anchor Realty to process, while discussing the procedures, she directly pressured the person in charge at headquarters to thoroughly investigate the abuse of power. The manager had done plenty of shady things over the years. Just a light investigation already uncovered her embezzlement. How the whole thing blew up in the end, Lily couldn't be bothered to say. Anyway, when those 2 were kicked out of the office looking pathetic, Lily just sat in the office watching them, feeling incredibly satisfied inside. So this meal is to thank you, Mr. Jensen. If not for your deal. Speaking of this, Lily choked up. Maybe I would have been like so many others. Could only quietly leave. The anger stuck in my heart with nowhere to vent. So what are you planning to do next? Have you thought about it or made any plans? I took a sip of wine, looking at the person across from me. Lily, without realizing, had cried until her mascara was smeared everywhere. When I asked that, Lily blinked, eyes full of confusion. I don't know, but because of those disgusting people, even the real estate industry, I've started to feel scared of it. Wine brings out the truth. Everything she said was heartfelt. Just quit my job. I still haven't figured out what to do next. Lily shook her head, then took another drink. I sat there thinking for a moment, then suddenly spoke up. If you've already quit, how about helping me with something? Lily was already drunk to the point of dizziness. But, hearing that, she still tried to shake her head clear. What can I help Mr. Jensen with? Lily blinked and looked at me. I pulled out some documents and placed them on the table. Wait until you sober up, then we'll talk. I was just about to tell Lily the job details when I discovered this girl's alcohol tolerance was so bad. She'd already collapsed on the table asleep, looking at her completely drunk state. I also understood how much pressure had been weighing on her lately. Drinking today could be considered releasing all the pent-up frustration. I shrugged helplessly. Just came to eat and ended up with trouble. Fortunately, even though Lily was drunk, she still remembered where she lived. I took her all the way home and placed the stack of documents beside her. At the same time, Chloe and Serafina had already climbed halfway up the mountain. Houston had many hills. Could even say, the whole city was surrounded by rolling terrain. The scenery here was absolutely beautiful. Today, the two chose a low hill that wasn't too difficult. Chloe, there's a pavilion up ahead. Let's go rest there for a bit. The two went into the pavilion to sit and rest, looking at the distant clouds, feeling the sunlight falling on them. Chloe unconsciously relaxed. Serafina, the moment she'd separated from me, had already seen the private message I sent her. At first, Serafina thought I was just telling her to look after my sister a bit, but now, seeing Chloe suddenly become quiet, Serafina in her heart had noticed something was off. Thinking back to yesterday while they were out, Chloe said today was to clear her head. Serafina keenly noticed. Chloe had something on her mind. What's wrong, Chloe? You seem different today, Serafina asked with a gentle smile. Chloe was pulled back to reality by Serafina's voice. So, you saw right through me. You really are perceptive. Chloe found a clean spot in the pavilion and sat down. The sunlight shone in, making it momentarily hard for Serafina to see Chloe's expression. Sister, what do you want to do in the future? Chloe didn't talk about herself. Instead asked Serafina. Serafina was stunned, then sat down beside her. The corners of her lips curved slightly. Actually, my future is pretty obvious at a glance. Graduate from Columbia, get a job at a company, then find someone to marry and have kids. Speaking of this, Serafina gently shook her head. But that was before I met your brother. Since meeting your brother, I no longer see a boring future. Speaking of this, Serafina's face unconsciously broke into a soft smile. That's great. Actually, sometimes I'm quite envious of you. Chloe closed her eyes, feeling the sunlight on her face. Actually, I haven't really run into any problems lately. I just suddenly realized, every day being so carefree like this seems kind of meaningless, like a little boat, drifting in the sea without direction. At first it might feel fresh, but drifting too long makes you tired. Serafina also understood Chloe's sudden weariness. I know what's bothering you. Serafina stood up and pulled Chloe to her feet. Looking at her slightly confused eyes, she said, Silly girl, it's because you haven't found what you love yet. Chloe suddenly realized and nodded. Serafina pulled her out of the pavilion. Growing up, wasn't there anything you liked? Serafina asked curiously. Chloe thought for a moment, then helplessly shook her head. What I like is just stuff normal girls like clothes or jewelry. Actually, sometimes I feel like I'm just a very ordinary girl. Nothing special at all. The two girls chatted as they continued toward the summit. Haven't you ever thought before what career you'd want in the future? Serafina asked again. Chloe shook her head. I've thought about it, but can't figure out what career I want. My mind is all fuzzy. No idea what the future holds. I just see a blur. It really feels confusing. Don't know which direction to go. Sometimes I feel interested in everything. Sometimes I feel like nothing interests me at all. Forget it. Let's not talk about these depressing things today. Put all the negative stuff aside. Sister, let's keep climbing. See who reaches the top first today. Loser treats the other to a meal. Chloe tried to cheer herself up. Serafina paused slightly, then smiled and shook her head. Seems like this silly Chloe just wanted to find someone to talk to today. But matters concerning her future life. In the end, she'd have to figure it out and decide for herself. The higher they climbed, the more tiring it got. By the time the two girls struggled their way to the top, they were too exhausted to say a word. Didn't expect hiking to be this tiring. Maybe after I get back, I need to properly train my stamina. Serafina was a bit dissatisfied with her current fitness level, while Chloe had grown up in hilly terrain, so she recovered much faster than Serafina. Sister, standing on the mountaintop, feels like we're closer to the clouds. Serafina gradually caught her breath, looked at Chloe and said, Actually, I think there are some things you could try discussing with your brother. You two grew up together. It's only normal that he understands you best. Maybe you don't know. When you went out with me today, your brother already noticed something was off. He even messaged me to pay more attention to you and talk with you. Hearing what Serafina said, Chloe immediately jumped up. What? My brother, that insensitive guy, could actually tell? Did he secretly laugh at me for being so emotional? Serafina laughed, looking at Chloe's lively self-returning. Come on, he's your brother. Actually, I'm quite envious of the bond between you two. You're really close. Serafina's gentle voice calmed Chloe down. When the two took the cable car down the mountain, Chloe seriously considered whether she should talk to her brother about this. The moment they got off the cable car, they saw me, standing there smiling. Done with your business already? Chloe looked at me curiously. I smiled and nodded. All done. Came to pick you two up for dinner. Remember last time they came to get me? For the class reunion, I introduced you to Tyler. That guy's treating everyone to a meal today. The two girls were starving by now. Hearing about food, they immediately agreed. Just that Serafina felt a bit shy. After all, this time I said, I'd be meeting my closest high school buddies. So before getting in the car, Serafina deliberately put on light makeup. After all, she wanted to dress properly, so I could show her off proudly. Chloe, on the other hand, didn't care. All she was thinking about was what delicious food to eat. Tyler had already gathered my closest high school friends. Everyone was waiting in the restaurant. Heard Callum's really rich now? Truly an outstanding Columbia student. Only been a short while, and already playing the stock market. Love life's going great too. A few people gossiped while waiting. Tyler looked extremely proud. When they praised me, he nodded along like he was being praised. Hey Tyler, I heard at the reunion the other day. You met Callum's girlfriend, right? Is she really that pretty? Tyler immediately puffed out his chest. Of course she's pretty. So pretty even I was stunned. You guys who haven't seen her are really missing out. I was speechless looking at my gossipy friends. The more they chatted, the more into it they got. Tyler was about to brag more when I arrived. The guys huddled together, full of curiosity. Tyler looked at their expressions. Knew he had to tease them good. Of course I've met her. Callum's taste isn't bad at all, Tyler said mysteriously. Hurry up and tell us what she looks like. A guy beside him immediately leaned in. Callum's bringing her here soon. I can't really describe it well. Anyway, when I saw her, I also felt like Callum really lucked out. That's a genuine goddess right there. Tyler was still rambling on when everyone was discussing. I'd already followed the location Tyler sent and arrived. Hey Tyler, Chen, you're all here? I walked in with a big smile and greeted everyone. Following behind me was Serafina. She also smiled and politely greeted everyone in the room. Tyler had already met Serafina before, but Serafina still noticed a few unfamiliar faces in the room. I put my arm around Serafina, then smiled and introduced her to everyone. This is Serafina, my girlfriend, and Tyler. This guy reacted the strongest, opened his mouth and called her sister-in-law right away. The others were stunned by Serafina's beauty. Those who hadn't recovered yet also followed Tyler's lead, calling her sister-in-law. The moment I pushed open the door and walked in, everyone's eyes were glued to Serafina. Honestly, we're all in college now. It's not like they'd never seen pretty girls, but someone as beautiful as Serafina. One look and she's etched into your memory. Truly rare. Had both looks and presence. No wonder the whole room stared. Beside us was Chloe, back in high school. She'd often hang out with me. Some people in the room knew Chloe. Oh look, every single one frozen like a statue. Must have been scared stiff by my sister-in-law. Chloe joked as she pulled Serafina to sit in an empty spot. Only then did those guys come back to their senses. Not bad, Callan. Now I believe what Tyler said is true. You really did luck out, one guy exclaimed, then nudged my shoulder. His voice sour as could be, looking at the envious gazes all around. I just smiled. All right, if you're jealous, go find a girlfriend at your own school. Tyler, standing behind, heard that, gritted his teeth, and said, if girls as beautiful as sister-in-law were that easy to find, who'd be jealous of you, Callum? Of course, I took in all those envious gazes and enjoyed them. Okay. Weren't we here to eat? Let's get the food going. Tyler handed me the menu. Callum, ask sister-in-law what she likes, so we can order more. Serafina quickly said, I'm fine with anything. No need to be fancy. These guys had been my friends in high school. All decent people, but seeing me with a beauty, each one felt a bit indignant. Tyler took the lead, started telling embarrassing stories about me from high school. Serafina's eyes grew wider as she listened. I helplessly glanced at Tyler and the gang. My secrets are all exposed by you guys. Tyler and the others laughed out loud. We're helping sister-in-law. Understand you completely from head to toe, not missing a single detail. I could only shake my head helplessly. What a bunch of troublemaking friends. But seeing everyone so happy, I felt warmth in my heart. Even though all my embarrassing stories were spilled, I still smiled and took it in stride. Looking at Chloe, who was burying her head eating like she'd never eaten before. Seems like my little sister was still the best, the one who seriously came here just to eat. Chloe swallowed the food in her mouth. Actually, all your embarrassing stories from home. I already told her everything long ago. Serafina, sitting beside, heard what Chloe said, covered her mouth and giggled. What great siblings I have. I shrugged helplessly, though Tyler really wanted to gossip more with me. He also knew we couldn't stay too late. After all, there were girls here. So around 8 or 9, we wrapped up. When everyone had left, Tyler still hadn't left. He stopped me, stuffed a card directly into my hand. Callum, this is all my private savings. My entire fortune is in your hands now, Tyler said with a laugh. Password is my birthday. Just take it and practice your skills. I didn't hold back with him. Took the card right away. Then I won't be polite, taking your money to practice with. I joked with Tyler. Didn't expect Tyler to think I was serious. Even said painfully, no. Whatever you do, just leave me half. When you become a financial tycoon someday, don't forget I was the one who let you practice. He made me burst out laughing, punched him on the shoulder. Don't worry. This investment is guaranteed 100% profit. Tyler naturally didn't believe it. How could any investment be a sure thing, but probably out of respect for me? He just nodded casually. Serafina sat in my car, looking at Chloe dozing off beside her. Then said, I think about your sister's situation. You should still talk to her once. I looked at Chloe sleeping soundly in the back seat. Did she say anything to you? I pulled the car over to the side. Serafina simply recounted Chloe's worries and confusion during her hike today. Lately, I really have been neglecting Chloe a bit. I'll find a chance to talk to her. I thought for a moment before answering. Serafina nodded and said nothing more. After all, this was Chloe's matter. What Serafina could do was just offer some advice. After dropping Serafina off, I drove back to our neighborhood. Chloe sat in the car, yawned and asked, We're home already? I nodded. On the way back, I kept thinking about when I should find a chance to talk to my sister. As a result, when walking past the small pavilion in the neighborhood, Chloe called out to me first, Bro, let's sit in the pavilion for a bit. I was a bit surprised, but still nodded. Sat down on the bench in the small pavilion. Chloe looked at me, her face rarely this serious. Bro, what do you think I could do in the future? Living aimlessly like this really has no meaning. How about I become your secretary later? At least that counts as finding some life purpose, Chloe said very seriously. I looked at my sister helplessly, smiled lightly. Of course that's fine. My little sister wants to be my assistant. I couldn't be happier. But I noticed, even though I agreed, Chloe's eyes didn't brighten up much, so I thought for a moment and said, But Chloe, I hope you can do something you truly love. Not just to fill the boredom, but to find a path that's truly yours. Don't force yourself to follow me if that's not what you want. Of course, if you can't find what you love, coming to help me out, I'd be very happy too. Chloe let out a sigh. Rested her chin and said with frustration, But bro, I basically don't know what I like. What I like, others like too. I don't know what I can do in the future. Looking back now, every day I just eat and play with sister-in-law. It looks fun, but having no goals is really boring. I smiled softly. My silly little sister. Actually, you can totally pursue any kind of life that you want. As your big brother, I'll always be your strongest support, even in the worst case scenario. Even if you don't accomplish anything in the future, you can still come help me organize documents, things like that. My voice was gentle. I even did like when we were kids, gently ruffled Chloe's hair. You're messing up my hair? Chloe, though she held her head and said that, under her brother's gentle encouragement, her eyes had already reddened a bit. I saw Chloe's mood soften quite a bit. So you don't have any interests at all? I looked up at the bright moon in the night sky and asked. Chloe felt that. She wasn't exactly without things she liked. After all, being a girl, she also loved things that girls typically like. What Chloe had just said? Actually, I like making little videos. Also like doing my makeup to look pretty, but isn't every girl like that? I really can't figure out how such an ordinary hobby could bring any change to my future. Chloe sighed with disappointment. Honestly, I didn't see my sister as an ordinary girl without any talents or hobbies. In my eyes, Chloe was just temporarily lost. Hadn't found the right field she was good at to develop. Actually, Chloe, don't you feel that? Your fashion sense is way better than other girls. I patiently guided. Some things were best for Chloe to realize herself. That way would be much better than me pointing out a ready-made path. She'd be able to determine her future more clearly. Chloe blinked, thought back to the differences between herself and the girls she'd seen on the street. Seems like that's actually true. You've really improved your taste since getting a girlfriend. You never used to compliment my outfits before, Chloe said with a smile. When she felt my care and encouragement, she felt she wasn't as sad as before. If that's the case, in the future, could I do styling for people? Or maybe become a makeup artist? Or stylist? Chloe vaguely pondered. If that's the case, seems like it would also be playing to her strengths. But with a future like that, Chloe didn't feel particularly excited either. Just felt it was ordinary. I shook my head. That kind of work is too ordinary. I understood Chloe's personality. Someone as lively as her, if confined to a store, helping people match outfits. Very quickly, that interest would wear down. Instead of that, Why not try a different approach? Do you want to take your styling sense and share it with others? Like posting videos or building your own fashion brand. That suits your personality better. And could also become your future path, I asked with a smile. Chloe thought carefully, then firmly nodded. Have you ever thought about being a content creator? Being a creator focused on makeup and styling, I said with a smile. And when she heard the words content creator, Chloe paused slightly. Her mouth unconsciously repeated, content creator. That's right. You can use videos to show off your own strengths, and you don't have to serve anyone. I smiled and shared the idea that I'd been thinking about for a long time. After hearing what I said, Chloe was silent for a moment, then spoke up, as if asking both herself and me. Me becoming a content creator, would that really work? I answered without hesitation. Of course it would, looking at Chloe's still slightly confused face. I encouraged her. My little sister is pretty, knows how to style outfits and do makeup. If you become a content creator, I'll definitely send you gifts. Whatever's most expensive, that's what I'll send. I teased with a smile. Chloe also laughed. Looks like my brother really does treat me well. Even willing to throw that much money. Let me think about it for a while longer. Thanks, bro, for listening to me ramble all night. I raised my hand and flicked her forehead, making Chloe yelp, then said, all right now, let's go home. Otherwise, Mom and Dad will come looking for us. After saying that, I turned and walked into the building. Chloe held her aching forehead, called my name and chased after me. The moment I opened the door, I slipped in quickly, closed the door before Chloe could get revenge. Who knew the moment I turned around? I saw Mom holding a glass of milk, looking at me with a bullying your sister again expression. Hurry up and open the door for her. You two go to bed soon. Mom looked helplessly at these two kids in the house acting like children. The moment I opened the door for Chloe, she lunged forward trying to get revenge. As a result, Mom grabbed her by the collar and dragged her to her room. Drink your milk and sleep. It's late. Stop making noise. The sibling battle thus dissolved. These two are grown up but still so noisy, Mom said with a smile. Dad, sitting nearby, also closed his magazine. This is how siblings who love each other act. Just let them be. When Chloe lay in bed, she tossed and turned, unable to sleep. In her head, she kept replaying the content creator idea I'd mentioned. The more she thought, the more she felt my suggestion wasn't bad at all. Just try it first. If it doesn't work out, I can stop. Chloe sat up in the middle of the night, late at night, because she was thinking about becoming a content creator. She was too excited to contain herself. She immediately ordered a bunch of stuff online, even opened several apps, looking up guides on becoming a content creator, and took detailed notes for her upcoming content creator plan. Could say she was pretty well prepared, and I had no idea. My sister wasn't sleeping in the middle of the night, but was busily preparing for this. The next morning, I had something extremely important to do. When I arrived at the storefront that I'd bought from Auntie Tang, sure enough, at the entrance I saw a familiar figure. It was Lily, the one who got drunk and passed out yesterday. Actually, last night. Lily had sobered up long ago. She remembered very clearly. Seemed like I'd given her something to do. Just that, no matter how she thought, she couldn't remember what exactly it was. I smiled. Said that I was short-handed lately, so I wanted to ask her for a favor. Using this storefront, help me apply for a bank loan. My credit is very good. My repayment ability is also strong. Help me apply for the highest amount possible. The moment I finished speaking, Lily froze. A loan? Mr. Jensen, you want to use this storefront as collateral? Lily was a bit confused. Didn't understand why I'd do this. I looked at her. Don't worry. I don't have any other debts. I just need to use the money I have on hand. If you find it inconvenient, then don't worry about helping me. The moment I finished, Lily immediately said firmly, I can do this. Don't worry, Mr. Jensen. Lily was truly grateful to me in her heart. Now being able to help me with something. She was more than willing. I nodded lightly. Whenever you're missing any documents, just come find me. I hope you can handle this as quickly as possible. Try to get the loan. Lily took the documents and nodded. Rest assured, I'll do my absolute best. After separating from me, Lily didn't hesitate. IIS took the documents straight to the bank. Started processing the application. On Lily's end, she was busy handling all sorts of paperwork and certificates. And on the bank's end, the manager wasn't idle either. A large loan like this naturally had to be reported to higher-ups. The approval process also needed time. Lily also had to go to the real estate center to get various property transfer documents stamped. While waiting for the stamps, she inadvertently spotted a familiar figure. None other than Auntie Tang, the previous owner of the store. Auntie Tang appeared to be also waiting for staff to process paperwork. Lily was still hesitating whether to say hello when Auntie Tang turned around and saw her. Lily. What a coincidence. You're here for paperwork too? Auntie Tang said with a smile. Lily walked over and sat beside Auntie Tang. That's right. There are indeed some procedures that need stamps from here. Looks like you're quite capable. Signed another new contract? Since they were at the real estate center, Auntie Tang assumed that Lily was handling procedures for a new client again. Unexpectedly, Lily paused, smiled and shook her head. Auntie, I've already quit my old company. Not doing real estate anymore. Auntie Tang was surprised. Didn't expect she'd quit. Oh, I see. So you're doing paperwork for yourself? Auntie Tang asked casually, but when she looked down, she saw a familiar name. Isn't this the storefront I sold to Mr. Jensen? Are there still some procedures not completed? Auntie Tang looked confused. By all accounts, she'd handed over all the documents before. Why was Lily bringing these files here again? Still need more paperwork? Lily also noticed Auntie Tang's confusion. She hesitated for a moment, then explained to Auntie Tang, it's not the previous procedures. Mr. Jensen is planning to use this storefront to get a loan. Hearing Lily's explanation, Auntie Tang paused. A loan? Didn't he say before he wanted to use this storefront for business? But, after all, Auntie Tang was a sharp-eyed woman. She quickly guessed a possibility. Could Mr. Jensen be planning to use that money for investments? There were many such cases around Auntie Tang, using real estate as collateral, then taking bank money to invest. This type of operation wasn't unique to me. In fact, from a certain angle, this approach could even minimize risk. Lily didn't expect Auntie Tang to guess my intentions right away. She directly understood my purpose. Later, when collecting documents, Lily also learned I was planning to invest. That's exactly it. Mr. Jensen has an investment company he co-founded with a friend. The profit rate is very good, so he's planning to put more money into it. Auntie Tang understood immediately after hearing this. So Mr. Jensen also had his own investment company. Though they were waiting for paperwork, the queue was pretty boring. Auntie Tang simply started chatting with Lily. Moreover, lately, Auntie Tang had also been busy with investment matters, so when she heard I was preparing to mortgage property for investment, she became quite interested. I wonder what sector Mr. Jensen is investing in? Auntie Tang asked probingly. Though Lily wasn't my employee, she still had professional ethics. Just smiled evasively and deflected. Didn't reveal anything. Just some things in the stock market. Generally speaking, the profits aren't bad. Auntie Tang knew she wouldn't get anything from asking, so she skillfully changed the subject. If the other party didn't want to say, why should she push? Lily and Auntie Tang hadn't been talking long. When they saw the paperwork was done, Auntie Tang, I have something urgent. Let's chat another day. After finishing the procedures, Lily didn't want to delay, said a few words of greeting and left. In just 2 short days, Lily had completed all the procedures. Now they just needed to wait for upper management approval. Then I just needed to personally sign one document, and it would be done. Once again, I saw Lily's excellent work capability. She worked extremely systematically, could handle work at the fastest speed and highest efficiency. This made me extremely satisfied. This was hard work for you. Very well done. I looked at the stack of documents, approved for the maximum loan amount in my hands, said with satisfaction while reviewing. Lily smiled softly. It's also thanks to Mr. Jensen for giving me the opportunity, she said, naturally referring to the property deal from before. I nodded, carefully put away the contract. Have you found a new job yet? Hearing my question, Lily was slightly dazed, but still answered honestly. Haven't found a suitable job yet. I nodded, looked straight into her eyes, and extended an invitation. I've been short an assistant lately. Don't know if you'd be interested. As for compensation, I'll pay market rate. Won't be unfair, if you agree. When I said these words, Lily's eyes widened in shock. She didn't expect I'd actually offer her a job. In that moment, Lily panicked a bit. She also didn't understand what ability I saw in her. That made me willing to extend a helping hand. Had to know that because of quitting suddenly. Even though Lily had closed such a big deal, she didn't actually receive much commission, plus various deductions. Lily had become so broke. She couldn't even scrape together next month's rent. During this time, she'd also tried looking for other jobs. Could only say her luck wasn't good. Lily's job applications were rejected everywhere she went. If not for that, she wouldn't have had the free time to help me run all this paperwork and certifications, receiving my invitation during such difficult times. For Lily, it was like warm coal in winter. So, without me saying another word, she immediately nodded in agreement. Mr. Jensen, you really trust me? Because I've never done assistant work before. Stunned by this opportunity falling from the sky, Lily was a bit worried. afraid she couldn't handle this position, especially since she was very clear about the value of the dowry I'd prepared, being an assistant and secretary, beside a boss with assets like mine. What Lily was most worried about now was that she didn't meet the capability level I expected. I smiled lightly. Everything I've assigned you before, you've completed very well. Relax, I don't hire randomly. If you didn't have the ability, then for the same money, I could definitely find someone much better. My words were a bit blunt, but this world was just that realistic. Hearing me say that, Lily gradually felt more at ease. She felt herself filled with motivation for the future again. Rest assured, I will definitely meet the requirements and standards you set, become a capable assistant and secretary. Lily looked at me, a hint of light in her eyes. It's just that. In the future, most of my time will be in New York. Don't know if you can accept this change. I thought for a moment, proactively clarified up front. Lily immediately nodded without hesitation. Rest assured, Mr. Jensen, I don't have any major requirements about work location. I nodded with satisfaction. I'll probably return to New York tomorrow or the day after. Take these 2 days to sort things out, then come to New York to report for work. After giving instructions, I prepared to leave. But Lily thought for a moment and still called me back. Mr. Jensen, sorry. There's one more thing. I turned to look at her. Saw Lily open a chat window on her phone. Here's the thing. When I was doing the procedures the other day, I happened to run into Auntie Tang, the previous owner of the storefront. Auntie Tang found out I was doing paperwork related to the loan, and also learned that, Mr. Jensen, you have an investment company. So lately she's been kind of hinting around, asking me about the investment company. Lily hadn't finished speaking when I already understood Auntie Tang's meaning. Remembered she'd mentioned before, wanting to invest herself. It's fine, if she asks. Some numbers related to profit rates and such. Just tell her honestly that you're about to become my assistant secretary. There are some things I need to tell you first. Currently, the investment company is still in its early stages. Needs a large amount of capital injected. Auntie Tang for my investment company can be considered a potential client. Some things didn't need to be said too clearly. Lily understood immediately, truly a blessing from above. Besides, it was Auntie Tang who proactively asked. Rest assured, Mr. Jensen, I know what I should do. Lily nodded. Put away her phone. If the conversation goes deeper, you can promise Auntie Tang a 2% profit rate. I thought for a moment and said. Lily was slightly surprised. 2% for half a year? I smiled. Just 2 months. Though Lily didn't trade stocks, she had studied finance back in college. She understood these things fairly well. A 2% profit was indeed incredible. This profit rate even made Lily a bit tempted. I'll talk thoroughly with Auntie Tang. Lily's heart began to stir. Lately, Auntie Tang had been researching some high-potential sectors in the market. Unfortunately, times had changed. Many industries looked completely foreign to her. The way I see it, why bother racking your brain? Just find a trustworthy person to help with investments. Wouldn't that be less stressful? Auntie Tang had been busy for a while when she received a message from a close friend. Messages came continuously. Actually, the reason Auntie Tang sold part of her real estate holdings to exchange for investment capital had a lot to do with that friend making big money from investments. Earned quite a bit, which made Auntie Tang somewhat tempted. Closing the chat with her friend, Auntie Tang somehow remembered Lily, whom she'd met at the real estate center the other day. At that time, Lily had accidentally revealed things about my investment company, which Auntie Tang kept in mind. Lily, finished processing that order from before? Let me treat you to a meal. This unexpected message from Auntie Tang made Lily pause, but she immediately saw this as a good opportunity, because Lily had been planning to persuade Auntie Tang to invest capital in my investment company. Auntie Tang chose a very private club. When Lily arrived, she was led directly to a private room by the staff. During this time, Lily had listened to me and reviewed a lot of professional knowledge, also thoroughly researched the investment company in my hands. So when Auntie Tang casually asked a few questions about investments, Lily immediately smiled and said, Auntie Tang, right now I'm working at Mr. Jensen's investment company. Auntie Tang was slightly stunned. So you've switched jobs. How's work going? Lily nodded. It's going well. It's just that Mr. Jensen's investment company operates with very large sums. Sometimes I worry that I can't handle it. Large sums. Auntie Tang pondered thoughtfully. Is Mr. Jensen's investment company also a company that helps others invest? Auntie Tang asked. Lily had prepared in advance. Nodded. Mr. Jensen's investment company operates an enormous amount of capital. The scale is also very large. Most importantly, from what I know, some of the core personnel in this company seem to have all been recruited from another major corporation, brought over to work. After skillfully revealing a bit of Information about the investment company. Lily smiled softly, looked at Auntie Tang, then said directly, I wonder if Auntie Tang has any investment plans lately? Auntie Tang nodded. To be honest, the reason I invited you today was also to privately learn about this investment company. I have some money, planning to find a trustworthy person to invest, with everything laid out clearly. Lily nodded gently, pulled a stack of documents from her bag. If Auntie Tang is interested, you could consider Mr. Jensen's company directly. No need to say much. Just this profit rate alone is worth a careful look. The documents Lily presented didn't touch on any core company secrets. Auntie Tang took the stack of documents, flipped through to take a look. Her reading pace wasn't fast. Could say she was extremely careful. After all, investment matters couldn't be taken lightly. Just a small discrepancy in information could cause the entire investment to collapse. When she flipped to the later section, seeing the 2% profit rate, Auntie Tang looked up in surprise. At Lily, this number definitely isn't a typo, right? Couldn't blame Auntie Tang for being startled, because this profit rate was truly too high. A profit rate like this was no different from telling investors directly that this was profit that only came with high risk. However, what surprised Auntie Tang most was that the document clearly stated 2% was just the starting point. Even wrote very directly, guaranteed minimum 2%. This meant a profit rate like this, according to my investment company, was completely achievable. Auntie Tang, this document has been cross-checked countless times. There can't be any errors. Lily saw the surprise on Auntie Tang's face, smiled, and explained. Auntie Tang looked carefully again at the other related information sections. How about this, Lily? Help me arrange a meeting with Mr. Jensen. I want to discuss a few more things. Lily wasn't surprised by this result at all. I believe any investor would be interested in an investment guaranteeing 2% profit. Lily smiled and said, Rest assured, Auntie Tang, I'll help you arrange it. You can keep this document to review more. No rush at all. Take another careful look. Lily thoughtfully left the documents behind. After leaving Lily, Auntie Tang immediately found some industry acquaintances, asked them to analyze the information and data in my investment company's documents. On my end, Lily had also reported Auntie Tang's intentions to me. Then let me arrange a meeting. I'm leaving Houston in 2 days. Better to handle it early. Has the bank loan been approved yet? I asked while on the phone. Lily said probably within 7 business days. The full amount will be transferred to your card, Mr. Jensen. No problems with the procedures or documents. Lily's work capability was truly excellent. Everything was progressing very smoothly. After setting up the meeting time, I was extremely punctual, appearing at this tea house. Auntie Tang had a habit of arriving early, once again seeing my familiar face. When I appeared, a smile appeared on Auntie Tang's face. Mr. Jensen, what a coincidence. We meet again so soon. Auntie Tang said a few polite words. I smiled and nodded. Seems like Auntie Tang and I really do have fate. Auntie Tang smiled and poured a cup of tea. I heard Mr. Jensen is about to return to New York for school. I wouldn't dare delay your time. Auntie Tang said that, so I just smiled. This time, having Ms. Lily arrange this meeting with Mr. Jensen, I wanted to ask a bit about Mr. Jensen's investment company. I accepted the teacup and said, Ask whatever you'd like. Auntie Tang looked at me, then took out the documents Lily had given her before, lightly tapped her finger on the number above. Mr. Jensen, I heard, your investment company's basic profit is 2%, correct? I nodded. That's right. As long as capital is placed in my company, 2% in 2 months is no problem, but it has to be a large investment. Auntie Tang heard this, looked straight into my eyes without speaking, as if thinking about something. Then she suddenly came back to her senses, looked at me sipping tea. She said, Sorry, Mr. Jensen. I was a bit distracted just now. Actually, I have some money on hand that I want to invest. I wonder if I put this money into your investment company. She hadn't finished speaking when I set down my teacup and held up 2 fingers. If Auntie Tang trusts me and wants to work with me, then 2% profit is the minimum I guarantee. My directness made Auntie Tang pause slightly. If that's the case, I'll trust Mr. Jensen. Such a high profit rate made it hard for Auntie Tang not to be tempted. Currently, such returns were very rare in the market. Even many long-established financial companies wouldn't dare make such commitments, and my absolute confidence made her trust me even more. Auntie Tang, rest assured, we've already worked together once. I smiled lightly, raised my head and said calmly, This is the 2nd time. I believe this collaboration will also be pleasant. I wonder how much you're planning to invest. Actually, before coming here, Auntie Tang already had a number in mind. After talking with me, she couldn't help but raised that number a bit more in her heart. She took a light breath. 30 million. I'll give you 30 million. Hope Mr. Jensen will maintain the profit rate you mentioned. Auntie Tang offering 30 million to invest was actually meant to test the waters. After all, in her hands, the capital available for investment wasn't just 30 million. But since this was the first collaboration with me, Auntie Tang didn't fully understand me yet, so offering 30 million as a test was also a way to gauge the reaction. Hearing the number she offered, I immediately understood what Auntie Tang was thinking. After all, Auntie Tang had sold property to get investment capital, so there was absolutely no way it was only 30 million. So I just nodded gently. Alright, regarding this 30 million investment contract, I'll have Lily bring someone to discuss with you. Auntie Tang nodded. Serious business concluded. She relaxed considerably. For some reason, the conversation shifted to her son. To be honest, I really admire Mr. Jensen. Auntie Tang looked at me while smiling. On the other hand, my useless son is nothing like Mr. Jensen at all. Completely lacks that bold, striving spirit. He just likes living comfortably. Speaking of this, her face clearly showed a disappointed that iron won't become steel expression. But I could see she really was the type who loved taking risks. I said with a smile, teasing her. Auntie Tang nodded. That's exactly right. I'm not the type to sit still. But my son is too slow-moving. Actually, you two aren't that different in age. He just got married this year too. Someday, I'll introduce you two. Hope you can be friends. Maybe you can pull him to be more active. Auntie Tang said while looking at me, as if asking for my opinion. I naturally had no objections. After all, Auntie Tang was a billionaire. Even if her son wasn't impressive, he was still a genuine rich heir. Having money isn't everything, but connections are what matter. I understood that principle very well. After finishing the meal with Auntie Tang, I drove home. Actually, there were only a few days left of the holiday. Perhaps by the time Auntie Tang's money was transferred, I'd already be back in New York, thinking about returning to New York, with capital in hand, already quite well prepared. I felt excited inside. After all, that stock market trend prediction card I still hadn't used. This time I planned to use it, to lay a solid foundation for the investment company. And right now, what I needed to do was focus on gathering as much capital as possible. The more money, the better. Half an hour later, I arrived home. Saw my dad, Mr. Jensen, holding a newspaper. Standing at the door with a helpless expression. Dad, why aren't you in the living room? What are you doing standing here? I slowed my pace. Dad tossed the newspaper onto the shoe cabinet with a helpless look. What kind of spell did you put on your sister? All day today. She's been holed up in her room. I raised my eyebrow. Just walked to Chloe's door and heard extremely loud music. The sound was so strong it penetrated through the door. No wonder my dad had to stand outside reading his newspaper. It really was a bit too noisy. I waited for the music to change, then knocked on the door without hesitation. Perfect timing. Chloe heard the knocking. A moment later, the music in the room stopped. Chloe opened the door. The moment she saw me, her face immediately broke into a smile. Bro, you're home early today. I pointed at the window. Outside, the sky had gone completely dark. Not early anymore. It's already 7 or 8 at night. It's that late already? No wonder I feel hungry. Chloe rubbed her little belly, then turned to head into the kitchen to find food. I immediately grabbed Chloe's hair. Wait, eat what? What were you doing locked in your room all day, and playing music that loud? Chloe blinked, looked at me with an innocent expression. Didn't you tell me to try live streaming? I was practicing today. Before I could ask, Dad beside me vaguely also understood a few things. You brat. Why did you tell your sister to go live stream? She's still young. What's she doing being a streamer? Dad came over and glared at me, left me speechless. I had to shrug. Dad, I think Chloe should do what she likes. She likes dressing up and doing makeup. Being a streamer to share a bit is good too. Dad hesitated for a moment, then took his newspaper and went to the kitchen. Wash your hands. Dinner will be ready soon. Always coming up with something. The familiar grumbling started again. Chloe and I exchanged glances and smiled. After dinner, Chloe was full of energy again, saying, Tomorrow I have to find sister-in-law. Tomorrow I want to do my first live stream, with sister-in-law's help. I told Serafina about Chloe's plan. Serafina said a bit helplessly, but I don't have any live streaming experience. When the time comes, I won't know what to do either. I laughed. Relax, that kid has been researching a lot these past 2 days. She's just a bit nervous. That's why she wants you to go with her. At this moment, Chloe was extremely anxious. Stayed up all night adjusting equipment. Oh my God, live stream tomorrow. So nervous. Tomorrow morning, I have to go to the hotel to find sister-in-law early. I can't live stream alone. What if no one watches tomorrow? That would be so embarrassing, Chloe muttered to herself, while pacing back and forth in her room, nervously adjusting equipment for a completely new field that she'd never tried before. At first, Chloe found it very exciting, but also worried no one would watch. In this anxious state, Chloe finally managed to fall asleep. Serafina had talked with me too late last night. She was still sleeping, suddenly felt someone touching her, which startled her awake, turned her head, and saw Chloe with dark circles like a panda. Chloe, why are you here so early? Serafina rubbed her eyes and sat up. Just as she stood up, she saw the room was already filled with professional equipment. Sister-in-law, it's already 8 in the morning and you're not up yet. Must have talked with my brother too long last night, huh? Chloe adjusted the camera, while not forgetting to tease Serafina. Serafina's ears turned red, laughed, and lightly patted Chloe. Say that again, and I won't let you live stream in the hotel. Chloe immediately begged for mercy. Equipment ready. Okay, I'm starting. Chloe rubbed her small face, sat in the chair in front of the camera, started her first live stream. Right at that moment. At the same time, Serafina had also entered the live stream room from the link on her phone. At the very beginning, there really weren't many people, even for a very long time. Only Serafina was watching, but Chloe wasn't as disappointed as expected. On the contrary, because there weren't many viewers, she gradually relaxed more. After relaxing, Chloe's state became much more natural. Serafina noticed. The number of viewers in the live stream room suddenly skyrocketed. Though it wasn't that many, just a few hundred people. But compared to the beginning, when there were only 7 or 8 scattered viewers, this was already a huge increase. Serafina immediately thought of me. She sent me a message. Are you also watching Chloe's live stream? My message came back quickly. Of course. My little sister's career, I naturally have to support. I just got in. Already bought a membership package for Chloe's live stream room. That's why the viewer count went up a bit, just a few seconds after reading my message. Serafina saw in the live stream room a huge announcement suddenly appear. Mr. Jensen gifted yacht X99. Immediately after was a whole string of yacht effects, flooding the entire screen. At this moment, Chloe finally saw it. Her eyes went wide. Serafina was completely stunned. Clearly, that yacht was gifted by none other than me. Chloe was dazed by this scene. You have money, but you don't need to spend it like this, Chloe muttered quietly. Obviously, she knew. These things were definitely her brother supporting her. And just a moment after the yacht effects ended, a golden text line appeared again. Congratulations. Beauty Zone's Mr. Jensen has climbed to first place on the reward leaderboard. Text like this didn't just appear in Chloe's livestream room, but almost. The moment a big reward appeared and topped the leaderboard, the system would broadcast a platform-wide announcement across the entire livestream platform, displayed comprehensively. This caused others to also notice this. Mr. Jensen. Some people, out of curiosity, clicked to view the reward information, and, very easily, found the live stream room where Chloe was broadcasting, Chloe's Garden. This was the name that Chloe had casually given her live stream room, and now, this live stream room had attracted the attention of many people. After all, on this platform, such big rewards were rarely seen, and with just one gift, already climbed straight to that position. It was truly astonishing. The price of one yacht on the platform was $9,999. I gifted 99 of them. Calculated out, I'd rewarded nearly $1 million in just an instant. This kind of spending wasn't just rare. It was almost never seen. In just a few short minutes, the viewership of this live stream room had exceeded hundreds of thousands, and the number was still climbing. Chloe was completely stunned by this change. Staring blankly at the camera, Serafina saw Chloe spacing out. Quickly waved her hand behind the camera. Chloe. Under Serafina's wave, Chloe finally snapped back. Oh my god, this many viewers is so scary. Chloe came back to her senses and blurted that out. This streamer girl is so cute. The makeup on the streamer's face is very refined. Didn't expect such an adorable streamer. I'm already captivated by her. So, was that sugar daddy from before? Also attracted by such a cute girl? Chloe brought her face close to the camera, carefully reading the comments on the screen. The comment lines scrolled by very quickly, and right now in the comments, it seemed everyone was starting to react. Everyone was asking about that big spender who just tipped. What exactly was his relationship with this streamer? Everyone's asking me. What's my relationship with that person? Right now Chloe still wasn't used to suddenly having so many viewers. So for the moment, she didn't know what to do. She was like an elementary school student again, seriously sitting there answering each question. This serious and naive appearance made Chloe unintentionally attract another wave of new fans. And at this moment, the person getting the most attention, me. Though I was also watching the live stream, I was busy with something else. Just now to support my sister. I'd gifted 99 yachts. Suddenly, I remembered the familiar system notification sound. Detected? Host has completed the mission of spending over $1 million on a live stream platform. Initiating reward. Rewarding host with 1 live stream tip cashback gift pack. Use immediately? I expertly clicked use, only to see the system opening this cashback gift pack. After host uses the cashback pack. Received 1.5 million cashback. I raised my eyebrow. I'd just tipped less than 1 million. Yet the system gave me a whole platform-wide cashback pack. Opening it meant receiving this much money. It was like I basically didn't spend any money on live stream tips at all, and even profited 500,000. Once again I marveled. Truly the system. Perfect Life really lived up to its name. Watching live streams, casually gifting and still getting cash back. It was really too good. After collecting the reward, I lowered my head to look at the live stream platform again. Only then discovered my sister's live stream room had already exceeded 500,000 viewers. This was only Chloe's first live stream, and already had such massive viewership. At this moment, Chloe was also looking at the camera, and speaking to explain. Clearly Chloe and Serafina had also seen the comments that were somewhat inappropriate in chat. Alright, since everyone's come to my live stream room, from now on, let's treat each other as friends. In my introduction I've already written, my live stream content is mainly about makeup and styling. I don't think my skills are that exceptional. Hope to exchange ideas with everyone during live streams. As for the Mr. Jensen everyone's curious about, actually I want to clarify, that's my actual brother. Today is my first live stream. He came to support my dream. Also, thank you all for coming to watch. After the initial confusion, Chloe quickly regained her composure, looking at her on the screen, smiling and answering the controversial questions. For the first time, I clearly felt my little sister had really grown up. Chloe's response was both tactful and straightforward, not avoiding the issue, and also very appropriate in attitude. Instead of dropping, the viewership actually increased. Serafina and Chloe had originally thought, after explaining clearly, those who came just out of curiosity, mostly, wouldn't continue staying in a newbie's live stream room. Honestly, I quite like this little sister. I think I should support this new live stream a bit. I'm not like you fake people. I just want to see if that Mr. Jensen is still in this live stream room. After all, big spenders don't show up easily. If I catch a living legends, I'll be so excited. Looking at those interesting comments, the worry in Chloe's heart gradually eased. Looks like live streaming isn't as hard as I thought. The people commenting in the live stream weren't as mean as she'd imagined. Chloe smiled softly, waved the makeup brush in her hand, made a funny face at the camera. That legend is now getting everyone's attention. But please send fewer gifts, okay bro? Your little sister needs to be self-reliant. I saw Chloe's funny face on the screen. Smiled lightly. This silly girl was even worried about my money. When I was called out by everyone again, I quietly sent another 10 yachts, just under 100,000, because I'd spent over $1 million before. My account had already been upgraded to Supreme VIP level. Every time I sent gifts, it was all golden and glittering, with super spectacular effects. When my gifts appeared in the live stream, all other comments were paused 3 times. That was a privilege only for the top reward leaderboard holder. No one else could have it. This cool and flashy way of gifting attracted even more attention and made everyone see my gifts. Sure enough, just after sending, a flood of 666 and legend comments appeared. Right then, I heard the system notification again. Detected host completed gifting mission. Congratulations host for receiving a basic reward feedback pack. Open? Of course I chose to open. This time, the reward pack had 150,000. Another 50,000 profit. I felt like I'd just found a brand new, super fast asset building path. But I also noticed the gifting missions seemed to only be available 3 times per week, meaning maximum 3 packs could be redeemed per day. Based on the 2 previous pack openings, the cashback amount was almost always over 50%. This was truly an extremely lucrative type of reward. I decided to support my sister even more from now on. The Jensen siblings making money together. Chloe looked at the screen, full of golden gifts, sighed. Oh my god, my little sister had no idea that her show-off big brother, just because the Chloe's Garden livestream room had a big spender backing it, in one short afternoon, had attracted countless views, and Chloe had become the streamer with the fastest follower growth today. Chloe, get back to the main topic. Serafina wrote this on a piece of paper, then held it up behind the camera, just to remind the girl who was having too much fun and forgot the main content. Chloe saw it and smacked her forehead. Right? The main content of livestream is makeup and styling. Already made everyone miss the makeup part. Then I'll redo it from the beginning for everyone, only to see Chloe being incredibly bold, preparing to, and so too. She directly held up a bottle of makeup remover in front of the camera. The girls watching the livestream were all stunned. Had to know that when they first entered this livestream room, those girls had already clearly noticed. Chloe didn't seem to have beauty filters on. In other words, Chloe's face in front of the camera was her actual made-up appearance. Right now, Chloe was directly removing makeup in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers. On-stream makeup removal. This made quite a few female viewers extremely shocked. Also sparked everyone's immense curiosity. Actually, in terms of looks, Chloe wasn't inferior to anyone, was even very beautiful. That was also why she had enough confidence to remove makeup publicly like this. This streamer's got guts, daring to show her bare face. I'm pretty curious to see her real face after removing makeup. Dear Lord, I just discovered a treasure. Viewers hurriedly hit follow on Chloe, who was removing makeup. Of course she didn't see the exclamation marks of surprise scrolling on the screen, but Serafina standing beside could see clearly. Chloe, this girl was truly born for this path. Very much matched viewers' tastes. Also had an extremely strong, approachable to strangers feeling. Callum's eye for people was really accurate. Serafina couldn't help but secretly admire me again. My eye for people was indeed accurate. One look and I knew Chloe was suited for the streamer path. Today, I went out, mainly to get the deed for the Cloud Peak Palace Villa, get all the documents in hand, then immediately gave all the documents to Lily, for her to continue processing the bank mortgage procedures, still at the 90% ratio as before. In my plan, at least within 1 to 2 weeks after National Day, I had to gather a very large amount of capital for the investment company. That way, I could activate the stock market trend prediction card to make a huge profit. On Lily's end, wanting to prove my eye for people wasn't wrong, and to make a good impression on her new boss. She worked extremely diligently and strived to complete all the procedures. Moreover, in Lily's hands, she was still holding the investment contract with Auntie Tang. Though very busy, Lily could feel that her current work environment was completely different from when she was at Anchor Realty. I was a good leader, no shady dealings, and paid very fairly. This made Lily extremely satisfied, and the more she interacted with me, the more she felt I was someone with charisma, the type of leader that makes people want to follow. Right now, Lily had gradually adapted to her position as my assistant. Perhaps before long, she'd be completely proficient at the job. When that time came, I'd have many other tasks to assign her. After separating from Lily, I drove straight to Serafina's hotel. At this time, Chloe's livestream still hadn't ended. During the livestream, when viewers saw her bare face, not only did viewership not drop, but it actually caused the livestream room to explode with a wave of gifts. Although the total gifts from them probably didn't match my second round of gifting, but those gifts definitely gave Chloe more motivation. Actually, these viewers weren't blind. In this deadly camera angle with no filter, Chloe, after removing makeup, still had refined features. Her skin was also very good. Just her bare face alone was enough to attract tons of fans. So at that moment, all the comments were praising Chloe's bare face. Chloe, seeing those compliments, still wasn't used to it and felt a bit embarrassed. Alright. Since this is a sharing live stream room, now I'll demonstrate my magical skills and do makeup for everyone to see. Though this was Chloe's first live stream, she was extremely talented. Her interaction ability and conversation flow were also very natural. The overall live stream rhythm was quite good. Plus, everyone knew this was Chloe's first broadcast, so they were forgiving of her inexperience. Therefore, in the Chloe's Garden live stream room, a rare atmosphere appeared, harmonious and pleasant across the entire platform. When I was about to open the door and enter, I happened to hear Chloe's voice. Thank you everyone for your support. Today's sharing session ends here. The next live stream time isn't fixed yet, but whenever I'm free, I'll go live. Goodbye everyone. I walked over behind Chloe while smiling, stopped, watching her just finish her first live stream. I joked, I just got here and you already ended. My timing is really perfect. Chloe blushed, rushed straight over to hug Serafina. The two girls hugged and screamed, "Oh my God, sister-in-law. I didn't expect so many people would watch me. I'm so excited." After cheering with Serafina, she ran over to me, so excited her face was flushed. She patted my shoulder. "Bro, you're amazing. If you hadn't topped the donation leaderboard, how would I have gotten so many viewers? Chloe's face was red with excitement. I looked at her and smiled lightly. Don't forget, this is just a trial. You need to see if you really like it. Don't let all this excitement cloud your judgment. I hope you choose to be a streamer. Because you truly love it, not because of these flashy illusions. Hearing me say that, Chloe gradually calmed down. Yes, bro, I'll think about it seriously. Her eyes were full of gratitude looking at me. Perhaps because I was so rational, that when everyone was immersed in excitement, I could always maintain clarity. Okay, bro, I'm done talking. I have to go check the back-end data. Those numbers give me such a sense of achievement. As soon as she finished speaking, Chloe had already run into the room, full of enthusiasm, started playing with the computer. Serafina watched that figure and smiled, turned her head to look at me. Chloe doesn't have any of that listlessness anymore. I think she's really suited for this path. I smiled, because I understand my sister best. Actually, Chloe going this direction is very fitting. That's right. But this matter has to depend on what she herself wants. But looking at how eager she is now, I think she won't give up. At that moment in the room, Chloe hadn't even finished checking the data when she received a phone call. None other than the person who today called Chloe. She immediately answered right away. The operations center of that live stream platform. They hoped Ms. Jensen could carefully consider this collaboration. As for the specific contract, it could be discussed further. The voice of the customer service on the other end was sweet and gentle. Chloe was stunned on the spot by this pie falling from the sky. After hanging up, she still walked out to the living room in a daze. Bro, sister-in-law, I'm a bit dizzy. Chloe looked at us and said. I furrowed my brows, looked at her, thought this silly girl still hadn't recovered from the explosion of her first live stream. But the next second, Chloe took out her phone. Just now, the live stream platform staff called me, said they want to sign a contract with me as a top-tier famous streamer contract. Serafina was slightly surprised. That fast, and they're already making moves? But after saying that, she immediately realized. After all, Chloe's first live stream had massive viewership and buzz. Clearly a streamer with great potential. Moreover, on just the first day, Chloe already had over 200,000 followers. Results like that weren't something ordinary streamers could achieve. Even many people who'd been live streaming for years would find it hard to reach this level. If this live stream platform didn't have vision, they wouldn't have become the platform with the most downloads and largest user base currently. I stood beside. Also knew quite a bit about the live streaming industry, so I asked Chloe, what tier contract did they say they'd sign with you? Chloe recalled, then said, they want to sign me with a 1 million follower influencer level contract. Actually, the contract level the platform offered this time was already very generous. Though Chloe's viewership today was quite high, the follower growth on the first day was actually only a bit over 200,000, and most of them just casually hit follow. Many were also because of me, the big spender, that they hit follow. Overall, the data was very good, but still far from the true 1 million follower standard. Yet they already wanted to sign that level contract, clearly showing extreme sincerity. Chloe had done research on the live streaming world before, so when she heard this contract level, she felt like she'd won the lottery. After all, this was only her first live stream, first day, and the platform already wanted to sign at all costs. I looked at my sister. So, do you want to sign? Chloe thought for a moment. I think it's pretty good. In the future, the platform will promote me at the 1 million follower standard. I'm really very interested in this profession. I feel like I'm suited to be a streamer. The more she talked, the more determined Chloe became. Right at that moment, I poured cold water on her. You should know, in the future, not every day, we'll have viewership and follower growth like today. Chloe nodded. Bro, I understand. At this stage, I'm just treating it as a hobby, not putting too much pressure on it. I don't have much ambition. I don't care too much about fame and fortune. Of course, when people come to watch, I'll also be happy. But I can also accept the difference. Looking into Chloe's determined eyes, though my face showed no expression, but inside, I was secretly nodding. Just now, I deliberately poured cold water to make Chloe calm down. Don't let all these good things coming one after another make her dizzy and make impulsive decisions. Now, it seemed, Chloe really knew what she wanted. This way, I could be at ease. Since you've decided, then sign the contract with the platform. I smiled lightly and nodded. Just that. When they talked so sweetly on the phone, don't be so honest that you forget to negotiate. I immediately turned back to add. Chloe looked blank. Negotiate what? I stepped forward and knocked on her head. Right now, they're using a 1 million follower contract to sign you, but you just joined the platform. and already created a new record. Naturally, you should demand higher benefits. Saying that, I said no more. Chloe immediately understood. Bro, you're really smart. I almost forgot about this just now. Serafina, standing beside, smiled and shook her head. Alright, Chloe's been busy since morning and hasn't eaten. Aren't you two siblings hungry? Chloe, hearing that, suddenly remembered. She pulled Serafina's hand. Sister-in-law, bro has to leave tomorrow. Probably can't have dinner with you tonight. Serafina smiled and nodded, not surprised at all. Clearly I'd told her beforehand. Serafina naturally didn't mind this meal. After all, tomorrow she'd be going back to New York with me. The two of them still had plenty of time together, because I had to fly back to New York tomorrow. Mom and Dad made a whole table of food, wanting the family to gather before I left. Looking at these two children, one boy, one girl, one handsome and mature, one clever and mischievous. Mom smiled with happiness. Mom, I've decided. I'm going to become a streamer in the future. In the middle of eating, Chloe raised her glass of water, excitedly announced right at the dinner table. She'd originally thought she'd face fierce opposition from her parents, had already prepared a whole set of arguments, but unexpectedly, Mom and Dad didn't seem surprised at all. Mom and Dad, aren't you shocked that I want to do this profession? Chloe's eyes were full of confusion. The couple looked at each other, then put down their chopsticks and sighed. You silly girl. These past few days at home, you've been like you're possessed, always messing with livestream stuff. We're not stupid. How could we not know? Mom laughed and tapped Chloe's forehead. Mom already discussed this with your dad beforehand. You young people have your own thoughts and ideals. We're old and sometimes can't keep up, but our family doesn't lack money. We're still healthy. Go pursue your dreams. That's the only support I think we can give. Hearing this, both Chloe and I felt moved inside. Mom and Dad, thank you for supporting me. Chloe was a girl, even more easily moved. I felt like she almost burst into tears but held back. Oh, right, today I also experienced my first live stream. Chloe sniffled, hid her emotions inside, then started talking about her first live stream. Immediately, Mom and I were both drawn in. Mom and Dad were very curious, not knowing what their daughter's first live stream actually looked like. Today, several 100,000 people watched my live stream. I was shocked too. Saying this, Chloe sneakily glanced at me. Her mood was both embarrassed and proud, but she tried to maintain a calm appearance. I just smiled lightly, looking back. That glance was like she was showing off to me. I maintained my calm expression, continued sitting beside and listening, as Chloe told our parents about how successful her live stream was today. Dad and Mom were both incredibly amazed. Neither of them had expected their daughter had such great talent in this field. Chloe had already agreed with me beforehand that when it came to receiving live stream gifts, she would be vague about it. That dinner was incredibly warm, the atmosphere harmonious. After eating, I packed my luggage, then took a set of keys to find Dad. Dad! I have something I want to tell you. Dad put down his magazine, looked at his son, who would return to school tomorrow, asked me, what is it, son? I smiled and placed the set of keys down beside Dad's hand. Dad, I want to give you and Mom a surprise. I've learned a lot at school recently. The money I had, I took to invest. The market's been favorable lately. I've also made a small profit. I think our family's shop is too small now. If we're going to do it, let's do it big. Hearing this, Dad's eyes had already widened slightly, vaguely guessing my intention, but still didn't understand what I was planning to do. You're planning to? Give us the money you made from investing. No need. The family business is for Mom and me to handle. You and Chloe just focus on your studies. If you earn money yourself, just keep it. No need to bring it home. Before I could finish speaking, Dad had already said a whole bunch. I shook my head helplessly. I knew it if I said I wanted to bring money home. Dad and Mom would definitely react like this. They were always like that. At this moment, I secretly felt lucky for not choosing to directly give tens of millions to my parents. That's not it, Dad. This set of keys is for a large store I just rented, about 2,600 square feet, with 3 floors. I think our family business should expand now. Hearing me say that, Dad's eyes immediately went wide. Right at that moment, Mom also came in carrying a glass of milk into the room. Just happened to hear that sentence. Oh my goodness. Why did you rent such a big store without saying anything? How can we possibly manage it? Mom put things down and hurriedly came over to speak. I smiled and asked Mom to sit down. Let me explain first. Our shop's business isn't bad at all. Actually, we should have expanded long ago. This time I rented such a big store. One reason is for our family's business, but most importantly, it's because I'm thinking of you and Mom. Hearing me say that, Dad and Mom looked at each other. Both looked at me with some confusion. Since I came back this time, they had both noticed I'd changed a lot, more mature, more decisive, and at this very moment, they felt even more clearly. I had truly become the pillar of this family. This kid, doing big things without any notice. I said with a smile, I'm doing this thinking of you two. I hope you can rest more, with a bigger store. There's definitely no way just 2 people can manage it. I'm planning to hire a few more people. Our family's business is good. When that time comes, you two just need to stand there and collect money. Both relaxed and in control of everything. Hearing this, Dad and Mom's hearts trembled slightly. They understood I was thinking about their hardships. Realizing this, inside Dad and Mom rose an indescribable emotion. Both moved, and joyful, making their gazes soften considerably. That feeling couldn't settle for a long time. Dad reached out, patted the shoulder of his son, who was now taller than him. You've grown up, much more thoughtful in doing things. All right, from now on, we'll listen to you. Mom beside also nodded. The store is also in the commercial district. Business definitely won't be bad. You'll have to work hard running around these coming days. Find some trustworthy people. I told Dad the specific location and situation of the store. In our family, the big matters were all handled by Dad, while Mom was meticulous, specializing in the detailed parts. I believed under their management, the store would definitely thrive. All right, let's leave the store matter here for now. You have an early flight tomorrow. Go rest now. Seeing the clock hand had already passed 10. Dad immediately stopped being polite, shooed me out. I had just turned around. When I saw Chloe leaning against the cabinet, she looked at me, blinking. I heard everything. Chloe winked mischievously. I smiled and walked over. Directly snatched the small cake in Chloe's hand. She hadn't even taken a bite yet, bro. That's my cake. You're bullying me again. I finished the cake in 2 or 3 bites. Even deliberately showed an expression of extreme enjoyment. So delicious. Looking at Chloe so angry her face turned red, I said, I'm doing this for your own good. In the future, you're going to be a streamer. If you get fat, you won't look good on camera. Before Chloe could pounce on me, I immediately ran into my room. Since we were little, Chloe and I had always teased and made noise with each other like this. A moment later, in Chloe's heart, because I was about to return to New York, there was still some reluctance. But after that playful exchange just now, that sad feeling had lessened quite a bit. The next morning at dawn, I finished packing and quietly left the house. I really didn't want to face the reluctant gazes of Mom and Chloe. I drove to the hotel where Serafina was staying, picked her up. Serafina's face always had a smile. When she came to Houston, her heart was full of grievance and loneliness, yet when leaving Houston, she was this happy, because this time, I was by her side. How could Serafina not be happy? This holiday really was short, once again seeing the familiar sign of New York Airport. Serafina smiled and said with emotion, before, the holidays spent at home. For Serafina were truly torture, because she had to live with stepmother Rebecca, and endure the annoying things Rebecca occasionally caused. But this holiday had let Serafina escape all the troubles at home. I also let Serafina feel for the first time how happy times are always so short. I smiled and gently touched Serafina's cheek. The first week of school we don't have many classes anyway. If you add it all up, isn't it like having another week of vacation? Hearing me say that, Serafina immediately reacted. The college schedule wasn't like high school, packed from morning to night every day. According to her class's actual schedule, the week after National Day, Serafina's class had almost no classes. Counting it that way, we could have another mini National Day holiday in New York. Serafina's face broke into a radiant smile. I smiled and nodded, hailed a taxi, took Serafina to a hotel. Just got off the plane, so she'd definitely be a bit tired. Rest comfortably first. I helped Serafina put her luggage in the room, then turned to leave. Serafina still had time to rest at the hotel, but I had other things to do. After all, on Marcus's company side, I'd already arranged almost everything. Now everything was ready, just waiting for the final piece, for an investment company. That final piece was investment capital, currently in my hands. I had the $50 million that Richard Lawson had transferred to me. There was $9 million from the storefront mortgage loan, plus $30 million investment from Auntie Tang. Calculating it all, I wasn't far from my small goal, but I would absolutely never think having more capital was enough. In fact, I wanted to gather as much capital as possible. I took the earliest flight today, just landed in New York, and Lily had all the contracts and capital in hand. Actually, she was on the same flight as me, just that Serafina and I sat in business class, while Lily, due to financial constraints, chose to sit in economy. After taking Serafina to the hotel, I met Lily at a coffee shop. Right now, despite sitting on a plane for several hours, Lily was still full of energy. Couldn't see any signs of fatigue. Seemed like her state was very good. How's the loan and investment money situation? I took a sip of coffee and asked. Lily was extremely professional. From her document folder, took out the relevant paperwork and contracts. Auntie Tongue over there really values and praises you, Mr. Jensen. Currently, the 30 million investment has been transferred to the bank account. No need to worry about the bank side either. The money has all come in. Lily reported everything, very clearly and coherently. I was extremely satisfied with Lily's work capability. Indeed, I didn't misjudge her before. This is the investment company's address, and the person in charge is Marcus, she said while handing me the documents. You can contact him. I directly gave her a copy of Marcus's address and contact information to Lily. Lily nodded and put the documents in her bag. She took her things, then went to the new company to report. I trusted Marcus would definitely arrange everything properly for Lily. When Lily arrived at the company to report, Marcus only then learned I was back. Callum, that's not cool. Coming back without even calling me? On the phone, Marcus's voice was a bit loud. I shook my head helplessly. I just got here. Besides, even if I told you, you couldn't have come to pick me up anyway. That's true. How could I leave? You. Don't know how busy I've been this National Day holiday? Marcus started complaining on the phone. Because during the National Day holiday, Marcus had to finalize all the big and small matters of the investment company. Everything had to be settled, including lots of miscellaneous tasks. Before I left Houston, I had dumped all the investment company work onto Marcus. From my perspective, this was actually a way to train Marcus. And indeed, Marcus had been trained well. The price to pay was naturally being so busy lately he couldn't touch the ground. Sometimes. He came home even later than his father, Richard Lawson. Is this person you found reliable? Not just anyone can be an assistant. Marcus was still a bit worried about Lily's sudden appearance. I spoke through my Bluetooth earpiece. Relax. Absolutely no problems. Well, if you say it's fine, then I'll arrange things for her. After ending the call with Marcus, I also arrived at where I needed to be, the largest auto sales center in New York. The reason I came here was because before, the system had rewarded me with a Ferrari. Such a luxury car was very useful to me. First, it could be used for daily transportation. Second, I could mortgage this Ferrari to borrow another sum of money. That way, it counted as gathering another round of capital. When the time came, I'd take all this capital and pour it all into the stock market. Money making money. Finding the Ferrari pickup area, I walked directly inside. Staff in neat suits immediately approached. Sir, are you here to look at cars or? While leading me inside, they politely asked. I lightly pushed the sunglasses on my face. I'm not looking at cars. I'm here to pick one up. Hearing I was here to pick up a car, the staff's attitude became even more enthusiastic. After all, no matter how expensive Ferraris were, not just anyone could buy one. Those who could afford this type of car weren't the kind of people they could afford to offend. So the service provided was extremely attentive. I only waited about half an hour before receiving my car. Processing speed like this was indeed very fast. When I saw that Ferrari, I couldn't help but curl my lips. The gleaming red light made me pause for a moment. One look and I fell in love with this car. Sitting inside to try the controls, I admitted the handling of this Ferrari felt great, just because the related license plates weren't done yet. I temporarily couldn't drive this cool car onto the streets. Speaking of license plates, I felt that in this reward, what satisfied me most was that New York license plate. After picking up the car in New York, I could directly get a license plate issued here. Had to know that nowadays to get one of these, everyone had to rely on lucky lottery draws. Some people drew for 4 or 5 years and still couldn't win, while I didn't need to do anything. Got both the car and the license plate gifted. In all of New York, probably hard to find a second person like this. Sir, all related procedures have been completed. The manager smiled and handed the documents to me. Attitude extremely respectful. Since the New York plates still needed one more day for approval, I temporarily didn't plan to drive the car away. Just leave the car here for me. I'll come back for it in a few days. Before leaving, I gave an instruction. The manager immediately gave me a ticket. Said he'd already helped me park the car in the dedicated garage. After leaving that place and getting in my car, I thought for a moment, then called Lily. Lily, there's something I need you to help me handle. Lily had just finished arranging her work. Receiving my call, she was slightly surprised, but hearing it was about work, she immediately focused. Need you to help me process another loan. Submit the application for the maximum amount. It's the Ferrari under my name. I calmly instructed Lily and told her to find time to come to me to get all the related documents. Lily found this task not difficult. After all, loan matters. She'd already done several times, could be considered familiar with it. Perhaps this is the world of wealthy people. One wave of the hand and it's a Ferrari. After quietly marveling to herself, Lily immediately went to prepare everything. Looking at her attitude, could see Lily was adapting very well to this new identity. While Lily was going to get the car, Marcus finally had some free time. Callum, I worked so hard to get a break. How about we go out and relax? Early morning, Marcus had stopped me before I went out. I thought about it and realized I had nothing important. So agreed to go relax with Marcus, counting it as combining rest. Where are you planning to go? Hearing me agree, Marcus immediately beamed. There's a new bar that just opened nearby. My friend opened it. How about you come with me for the grand opening? I want to introduce you to my friend. Makes it easier for us brothers to hang out later. I glanced at Marcus. This kid's face was full of excitement. Probably had planned this long ago. I got in the car and casually replied, expanding connections is also a good thing. People like Marcus were second-generation rich kids. Friends around him were all people of status. Nothing wrong with making friends with them. Counted as more friends, more paths. This new bar on the outside was decorated extremely lavishly, lights shining brilliantly. The end.